Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. Welcome to episode 262 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. We didn't miss a week, but Cog and I are back, like current type back. So, Cog, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome back. Happy January.
Happy January. Happy 2026. Happy New Year. You know, we're back. A lot going on. So forgive me early. Your boy's hurting right now. You know, it's a little physical issues. Yeah, we talked about it before. You know, we got to get our medications. We got to get our things right. We're hoping things jump off right, but hopefully that should be taken care of in a week or two. So I'm looking forward to that. But as far as myself, I really enjoyed this time off. I really did, man. It was needed. First things, I shout out to my man Paul. I'm so proud of you, brother. He moved. He's with the Coast Guard. Moved to Virginia Beach.
Yes,
he's got the brand new job. Sick new place. You know how you proud of someone?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, look at him right now. Like he's doing it, man. Like his place is legit like a resort.
Ooh.
I was helping him.
When you go down south and you see the prices and what people get for those prices, it does make you, like, when I was looking at places in North Carolina as someone who lives in the Northeast, I was like, dude, I could like get a really nice spot and save money. Like, I'm like, it's kind of nice down here. Like,
it's just, I need the salary here.
Yeah. Yeah. The New York salary and the Southern living situation.
Facts. If I get that tri-state salary, living on that cost of, bro, his joint, like when we were apartment searching for back in August.
Yeah.
I believe, no, that's too early. It was like probably like September, October. And I remember when we got to this joint, they were building it. They out. They had like, we had to go in there with hard hats. You know what, they still building. So I'm like, okay. So they gave us like a couple of room, ones that were finished and units that were finished that he could check out. And I was like, yo, P, this the one right here, bro. Like, you know how you just walk into something, you like,
he feels it. Yep.
This is it, bro. It's amazing. And then like he's like, yo, bro, they got the gym. Yo, bro, they got, you know what I'm saying? They got all these amenities and dope thing. And then it's not that far from the beach. It's a beautiful place. Absolutely. I said, bro, if you want me to come down, because I'm calling it Resort Cog. I was like, if you want me to come down to Resort Cog, you got to have your internet together. Because if, you know what I'm saying, if I'm going to come through, because I want to come through in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? But it's really, I'm bad at it, bro. It's 70 degrees right now in Virginia Beach.
Oh, bro, it's like snowing right now.
That's what I'm saying. Bro, and then also super shout out if he's listening. Shout out to my man, Lords of Gaming.net's own and Lognet. LSM fam, Billy the Brewer. Billy the Brewer lives in Virginia Beach. Him and wifey pulled up. He was like, I heard you was out here. I was like, yeah. I said, you're going to see me a lot, you know, at least seasonally, because I'm helping my man move. And then, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to be coming through. Pulled an amazing little beer spot, you know what I'm saying? Because he's an actual beer brewer for real. Yeah, like for real. So he's breaking it down. So I was like, I don't really like beer like that. I'm a mixed drink guy. He's like, I got you. He started telling me all these things, how brew is made, and what specific was some chocolate peanut butter beer. I was like, oh, y'all got flavors? Okay. You know what I'm saying? So he's putting me on game. Wifey's awesome. I ain't gonna pub, but she's amazing. She does something that is very unique that I've never met someone in that profession. And I was like, wow, that's super cool. I would never do that, but that's super cool what you do. Because I ain't got the heart to do what you do. So we was all just hanging out, chilling. And then all during that time, I had my ally with me. I got tons of rest, which was super important. I slept really good out there. And then I ain't go front. Like, I was out there for about a week and a half. Maddie, I ain't go front. I was getting sad to leave. I was like, I don't want to leave. I was chilling, bro. I was like, man,
I'm ready to go back.
Yeah, I knew I was, because bro, it's so easy from EWR to, was it the closest airport near him is Norfolk, ORF, bro. it's a joke. It's like the time the plane gets up in the air, we're ready for descent.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, this is nothing. I was like, such an easy commute. So yeah, I said, P, you're going to be seeing me a lot in the summertime, bro. I'm pulling up. You got the second venue for me. You got the I make sure you got the Fios internet with the 100 up, 100 down. So if I do have to podcast near the beach, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I like that. Like, so that was me. It was really good. And then I just came back, and now I'm just dealing with nonsense with in medical stuff, which we talked about, insurances and all types of real life things that we try to get straightened out. But enough about me. I've been rambling. What has been going on with you?
Well, we have a write-in.
Oh, let's
dive into it, right? By the way, if anyone wants to write in, patreon.com/laststandmedia. Join over 12,000 of you there. Largest gaming Patreon. We appreciate you all. And here's to another great year of Last Stand Media. This write-in is from Anthony Pallarino. He says, Dukes, I got to know how your holiday break with gaming went. What games did you dive into? Did you tackle the backlog or revisit some familiar favorites? I personally bounced between Yakuza Kiwami 2 and Fallout New Vegas. Thank you for your writing, Anthony. So this is a weird break for me. I'm still off technically. Like I still I'm coming back like the 12th or the 13th. I'm already doing like the prelims is what I call it, where I'm like starting to round out the video topics and start to plan a little bit. What am I reviewing? What am I not reviewing? That sort of thing. I have to say that this was the first year in a while where I felt the Christmas spirit. Like it really kind of took me over and hit me pretty good. And that really let me unwind a good amount. But because of the way I prepped for the holiday season, like I wasn't sure if I was going to be in and out because of the Fallout TV show. I wasn't sure if we were going to get all our videos edited in time because I prepared them so late. And so just got to shout out again, my editing crew who really like saved my bacon this year and like got all the work done in time. And so we all got a good like 3 weeks off. But because of that, like, my editor, Josh, who's going away to Japan this month, like he was kind of working through December because he was like, I'm going to be off in January. So I'm just going to keep chipping away at this now. So he was like feeding me videos for Retro Rebound while I was off. So I was checking on that. I had to work a couple ads. So there was a bunch of stuff I was doing. And the biggest thing I was doing, though, was game dev. I was writing my fucking balls off, dude. I don't know how else to put it. Like that is what I have been doing a ton of. And it has been so nice I love making video content. Like I'm very obsessed with it where like I was missing it pretty quickly because I had all these ideas just slam into my brain, but you need that time away. But dude, like it's been so nice to establish like a flow and rhythm because all of my writing has been done, at night after I'm done working all day on videos or it's done, on a weekend where I'm supposed to be recovering to like work another week in the games industry and just, it's always something, right? But you're always kind of like tapped out while writing. So this has been nice to kind of find a flow and do a little bit of self-discovery in that. Like, okay, what works for me? And what worked for me in this sort of like part-time writing capacity while still trying to maintain like you are on your holiday break was what I call the 2-2-2. 2 hours on, get into your flow state. A lot of ideation, mainly like, okay, where am I going? Where am I steering this vehicle? 2 hours you're away. Like go handle the house, do the dishes, shovel the driveway, whatever it may be, go on a run. Then you don't realize your brain's just like processing all this information. You come back and this keyboard's on fire. I'm just ripping through it. So as we record now, I'm finally almost done with our outline. This is our second draft. The first draft had a lot of good critical feedback. And so this is kind of like going through that, combing through it, and representing it to the team. And they've already kind of did a little sneak peek. The reception's been really good. So we're feeling really good about where we're headed. But that was like the big thing for me. That as much as I wanted complete time away from everything, I really needed to get the monkey off my back because this was like the period I knew I could just go at the game without worrying like, am I making content or am I, going to be able to keep the roof over my head? That sort of stuff. It was like, okay, content's handled. I'm going to go in on this and know that like, I'm not going to miss a beat. Like there's not like, this big thing happening. So that was really where I was still in a little bit of a work mode, to be honest. So, Laylee and I are already looking at like vacations for like springtime just to really have the true getaway.
The true one. Yeah.
Because what you said is sort of where I'm at, where I don't know if this, like you talking about going away, I think does really get you to unwind. I don't know if the staycation does it for me as much as I think it does. It always sounds good.
It sounds good.
But then I get that time off And I still feel, and I don't know if it's because like, I mean, I love this office. I love my house, but like I'm here a lot. So getting out and relaxing somewhere else, I think is really what I need ultimately. So I've unwound and then wound back up a little bit. So I've just I rested enough where I feel good. I definitely got a lot of gaming in.
Nice.
I focused my break on filling my cup is how I defined it. Just really, I talked a lot about time in a lot of the content I put on Retro Rebound, especially a lot of what we posted there over the holiday break. For those who watched will note it was a little more like philosophical. Like it was a lot more like, here's how I'm gaming. Here's how I'm thinking about games. Here's how I'm organizing my games. Like it was very different, but it was very fun to do. And so heading into this year, like one of the things I really swore to myself was like, look, yes, this is your job. Yeah, you need to review stuff. You need to be on top of the new, but you need to feed your soul, brother, because you got hurt these last 2 years. And I was thinking of you a little bit too on how you're like, bro, I want to play what I want to play. And everyone around me who I always think about the content beast a little bit and the balance between that and kind of feeding yourself. Everyone I follow or I like or I really deeply respect who is successful at what they do kind of plays what they want to play. They don't have to chase. And so one of the long-term goals I really set for myself this year was like, I just love being a part of what's happening. So I'll always be there. But like really trying to establish that form of success that I've been lucky to have created for myself beyond what's currently happening. Like, can I do a video essay, put that out, and hope it just resonates with people? Like they see the title and the thumbnail and the subject matter, and they're like, hey, that was really well written, really well put together. So it's a little bit of like the maturation, but just also, again, like, playing New Vegas, getting the platinum trophy, like that was huge for me, man. Like I just talked my wife's ear off about it. I was like, this makes me so happy. And I've been happy. I've been enjoying my life. I've been enjoying these games. But like, dude, this is a special type of game that I keep myself away from for two reasons. One, I love it so much. It sometimes brings me pain. But number two is that I have so many other things to play that I'm expected to play. I'm like, I got to find a better balance of that. Like I usually have a good balance. I think probably pre-2024, I had a good balance. I kind of lost that balance this last year and a half. So this was really a focus on getting back to New Vegas, indie games. We'll talk about some indie stuff I played. I'm really excited to talk about that. And then just knocking off one from the backlog cog that we've talked about a lot. Finally, the fantasy bet has been paid off after all this time.
I appreciate you. I saw that. I was I just gave you the gif and I was like, yes.
So, yeah, dude, it's been by the time I officially come back, it'll been like 3 weeks, and it's been a busy 3 weeks. It's, people unfortunately, me well enough. Like I'm just too reflective for my own good at times. Like I sometimes need to let it ride, and I'm trying to learn that to just let it go sometimes. But I knew I needed this time to like self-reflect, get my act together, reorient the focus. And I even started journaling a little bit, dude. Like just kind of, again, like a little, I haven't done this. I can't even tell you last time I did, but just kind of, again, going down that self-discovery rabbit hole and just, I don't know. I felt a lot of change in myself last year, and I wanted to like get to what that was. So having some time away from work to just sort of pay attention to me felt nice. And it's amazing what those weeks can do to you. Like just 2 weeks off the grind to just settle in. It just feels like so much has changed in such a little time. And I don't know, it's been nice. So you said you rambled, but holy shit.
We had a lot. We missed each other. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
No, I love what you said. Because that's super important. And I love what you said as far as like, I call it like feeding the soul, right? Which is, you have to do these things, whether it be for the self-reflection and things you want to do on a personal improvement side, but also when we talk about on the gaming side, right? Which is like, we know how this zeitgeist works, right? And we get it. Like sometimes you got to be there, you got to be part of it. But there's two things that I really learned as I got older. And you said it the last Duke we recorded, where it's kind of like, you finally, right, the point where I was like, look, if I'm not enjoying something, I don't need to see it all the way through as if there's this honor system and I'm miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like you cut it out. And then also there's stuff that is not in the zeitgeist, but the heart wants what it wants. Right. Yeah. And the same way with you is, you see the shirt I got on, like this was the pocket I was in. And when we talk about what I was playing, I'm like, because me and you was talking offline and we were talking about a certain game and that was evoking feelings. I'm like, I'm hoping this game does what I want it to do. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, But I need to go back to the source of why this game is so special to me. And obviously, the Realm of the Dukes and LSM, y'all know what it is. I gave a damn dissertation in a theater in Butler, you know what I'm saying, about this game. And we'll talk about other things we're playing. But yeah, I love where you're at, because that's literally how I evolved as I got older with my gaming habits and content creation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I really started to process that I didn't know I was feeling at the time is because of that pressure, I was running away at stupid times. A great example of this that I recognized was Oblivion Remaster.
Talk to me.
I took my time to put out a review, and that was a time that my audience needed me like then and there, like day of. But I think in this, I don't know if it's like subconsciously, I was like, okay, I need to let this breathe. But it's like, that's a moment you got to go pedal to the metal. Like that's Bethesda proper. That's a game I love. I'm very well known for this one. Like, just the content, that's the content beast you do feed. You're like, I need to be there. Right. Like, sorry for those listening. This is like business 101. Like, is it just like, I love this shit. People know I love this shit. I want to make shit on this. Like, it's just that simple. That's the beautiful formula for YouTube. If you can be in that pocket. I took 3 days to do that first video. By that point, wave's over. Video still did well. I'm not going to complain about like 250,000 views on a video. That's amazing. But I did look around at other channels and see who was beating me. And I was like, I talked to my friends about it, because he was like, yeah, why'd you take 3 days? I was like, yeah, I fucked up. Like, but now I think about it where I was, and I was like, oh, I was just demanding for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Yeah. And I think when that time came to show up, I was not probably mentally ready somewhere to be showing up.
And that was like April, I believe. Yeah. April was crazy, bro.
Yeah. That was Expedition. I was just
finishing that. It was a lot of, oh my God, that was crazy, buff. So, I do remember. Yeah.
It's just getting the thought process right, because I felt I let one slip there. And then I felt we got it back with the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, because I told my editor, Dan, who again is total soldier, I was like, we have to be like day of for this, because I feel people need to hear about this. And that did way better than anything I did on Oblivion. And so that taught me there. I was like, see, you were feeling something back then. You didn't know it. And now you know. So self-discovery, ladies and gentlemen. Fun stuff. You never stop doing it. I thought I'd be done with this shit after college. But
it never stops, brother. Never.
All right, Cog.
Yo.
Let's keep talking gaming here. In television, Fallout Season 2 has been ongoing. Desquick has the right, and he says, good day, Dukes and Duchesses, and a happy new year. My question is more of a request. Can I get some of Maddie's thoughts on the season so far for Fallout? Also, to get his feelings and reactions to being name dropped by, he says Justin Theroux here, but it was Rafi Silver, just to be clear. But the actor who plays Robert House, he says, I've been loving this season and continue to believe it is the gold standard for translating a video game world feel into live action. This includes Lucy being a dorky vault dweller and failing all her skill checks. It must have been nice for Maddie to enjoy the show on his own time instead of having to endure the endless stream of hate that any property receives these days from a vocal minority of rage baiters. But I digress. Thanks, and have a great day. P.S. Shout out to Maximus. He is awesome this season. P.P.S. Walton Goggins, the GOAT. Thank you, Desquick, for your write-in. As of the time of recording this, I haven't seen episode 4 yet.
Okay.
So I'm 3 episodes in. I have been enjoying taking it at my own pace. A lot of what I expected to go wrong with the season has. So I'm not as put on my ass like other people are. Like, I knew the weekly release was going to be torture, because New Vegas fans, I love y'all. The sane ones, I love y'all. But most of you are fucking insufferable. Like, just most of you are like the quintessential lore Bible beater that people cannot.
Lord Goons is back.
And here's the thing. I get it. And that's why the thing with this show that it's doing wrong right now is the Brotherhood of Steel. It is so distractingly right now mishandled. I know what they're trying to do.
Okay.
You know, without heavily spoiling, I'll just leave it at that. For those who haven't seen it yet and they're like, hey, I want to wait to watch the little season.
Let's respect them.
Yeah. I know what they're trying to do with the Brotherhood of Steel. Like, I understand the goal and what they're trying to accomplish with Maximus. And Maximus is one of my favorite characters. Like, I love it. I love him. But it's not great execution. This was one of the concerns I had going in when they were like, see you next year for season 2. I'm like, already? Really? And when you combine that with potential missteps in what a faction is known for and what it's becoming, and a very defensive part of the fan base in New Vegas fans, like very protective. I again, it's going as I expected, which is, I think it's really good. I still like it a lot. I still look forward to it. Episode 2, I don't think was good. Episode 1 was great though. Picked up right where we left off. I thought it was an awesome time. Yep. Episode 3 was definitely an improvement. I mean, I like it, man. Like I ended my year with bad Fallout. Anniversary Edition, 76's expansion. Those are both major letdowns. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm pretty qualified to say I know what bad Fallout is. And I don't think the TV show, even at its worst with what we're seeing with factions like the Brotherhood of Steel, is that bad. Like, not so much that I'm like fucking raging online. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not a fan of this, but you know what? Like, this is still really enjoyable. I mark it on my calendar. I look forward to watching it every week. I do think though that the mystery in this series is not strong enough. Like, it's always based along the completion of these 3 storylines. And when you can consume that at your own pace, like you could with season 1, it feels much better and much more digestible. But it's not like a White Lotus where like every week you're I'm only going to use this term because Mike White used this term to describe his own show, but like they edge you, right? It's just like they edge. He's like I fucking love edging you guys. And I'm like, that's what White Lotus is, right? Every week ends and you're like, damn, bro, what's happening? I loved that for season 3. That was an amazing feeling. Fallout isn't a story like that where you're like, damn, it's like those storylines are all going at once and they only get so much screen time in an hour-long episode. Correct. So you can only move things forward so much without neglecting another. I think that's why season 1's opening was so good, because I love Maximus, but there was no Maximus. So it was just Lucy, the ghoul, pre-war. And you're like, this is the best shit Fallout's got going on in this TV show. When you start to balance them all, if there's not okay, let me go to the next episode available for you, you've got a problem now, because you can't just fix that issue. So you got to sit with that uncertainty. Right. Naturally, social media is doing its thing, but I am not in the ballpark, at least yet. I'm going to call my balls and strikes as they go along, but I'm not calling the game until the final out, which is episode 8. Once the season is done, then I'll really grade it like on that level of like, was it good or bad? But right now I'm like, look, dude, yeah, there's some shit that's going on that I'm not crazy about, but even at its worst, I'm like, I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying it. So have you been watching it so far? How have you been feeling about it?
I'm still early, like 2 episodes in. I have to catch up to the other 2, but I really enjoyed the first episode. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a good set. And obviously, we talked about your man, Robert House, who you've got a lot of kudos. Very, very proud.
Yeah, that was nice.
Recognition. Let's talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Okay. That was I think Locke did message me, and Locke was like, you should be really proud of yourself. And I said, now I'm breaking the rule. I said to him, your ears only. I said, I am. I said, that's like one of those moments where I was like, I was cooking dinner, and Brett Medlock reached out to me. Awesome dude. And he's like, dude, did you see this? And he sends me Rafi Silver on the red carpet. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, like, is it like a scoop of what's happening with like, because one of the mysteries is a certain character. And I'm like, what's he saying? So I click and the caption's like, Mr. House thanks Fallout YouTubers. And I'm like, I was like, no fucking, like I right away I put it together. I was like, no fucking way. I saw he was following me on Instagram. So I immediately reached out to him and was like, dude, like that was a moment I'll always remember. Just like, not only that full circle feeling, but like he didn't have to do it. He really didn't. He does a great job as Robert House, in my opinion. And he really did not need, he could have taken all the credit for himself, and rightfully so, because he did the work. But for him to kind of to put it on creators' backs like myself or Juicehead or Oxhorn or Night Raven, I thought was a real show of character. Like I really just respected that. So that's why I wanted to make sure like I thanked him personally. I was like, and not just like on socials. I was like, dude, just like, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for caring. Thank you for just even mentioning us. Like I can't begin to explain what that means. And just to dedicate, because a lot of these actors and actresses are really good on the show, but they've also talked about how they don't engage with the game or anything like that. And so far so good, I guess. But I love that he cared enough to go that far and to make the most of this role, because Mr. House is a very important character in all of Fallout. And so I think he understood the mission. I think it shows. But yeah, it was just it was an honor, of course. Like I couldn't get over it. It really like had me glowing for days and days. Like it really just was a huge pick me up and made me feel like, oh, this is like my favorite franchise of anything out there.
Mm-hmm.
So all you ever want is to make an impact.
Yes.
And obviously my dream is to be involved on a deeper level one day, but like just to know that like someone was studying their craft and they were like, let me see what, it's not even just me, like these other YouTubers, like I'm good friends with Juicehead. I like Oxhorn a lot. Night Riven's a great creator. Like just to know that like we were in that rotation of understanding the character so that he could get to that level was just incredible. I feel really honored to be a part of that. So that was, he didn't have to do it, and it really set me back when I saw it. I was very emotional after. I was like, this is amazing. I watched it so many times. It's embarrassingly so. So I did bask in it. Y'all are getting me after I've settled in. I would have been so annoying. Dude, all my friends in my group were like, yo, it's Rafi Silver's like favorite person. Like just like clowning at me constantly. Like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, what's up? That's what I'm talking about. Look, man, when I came across my timeline, it's one thing, like you said, to he didn't have to do that, right? Like he could have a lot of these, sometimes these actors, when they want to take a role very seriously, they'll research it and they'll do the YouTube stuff, but they won't give the credit on that level. You know what I'm saying? This granular level, and to name your name and to see it enunciated. It does speak to his character. And then I was like, man, that's super dope. And then obviously your passion for the franchise, your passion for the character, your knowledge, and someone looking at you and saying, you know what? This person has a deep understanding of the game, the motivations of this character. I need to study to. It just speaks volumes on both sides for both of you. And I just thought, man, that is super dope. It was surreal for me to see. I was like, yo. Because I was like, what would be the equivalent? I was like, I don't even know what the equivalent would be for me. What is the game I love that someone that is doing a show researches you
Shinobi or something, right?
Yeah, like a Shinobi game or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess that's what would be for me or something like that. But man, I was like, that is dope. So yeah, we had to give you your flowers today for sure. That was. But dope.
You've been liking the season so far, from what you've seen?
I've been liking it so far. I mean, for me, I'll be honest. I do struggle with week to week.
Yeah. Same.
I've been doing it at my own pace so I can get like 2 episodes banked in and then catch in. Because every week, like how Addict's doing it, I just can't, bro. Tune in next week. The credits go, you're like, oh, it kills me. So I am kind of the binge guy.
It's like I'm getting my fix, That's how I look at it. So I think the weekly's hurting the show, but I do enjoy just sitting down every week and be like, oh, new Fallout. Yay. Like it's a good feeling.
No doubt.
So, yeah, we'll no doubt be talking about this a lot in the coming month, because now as we record this, we're in the second half now, where episode 4 is behind us and we're moving on to that finale stretch here. So excited to see what they've got cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Defining Duke is sponsored by Shopify. I love when a new year rolls around because it feels like a fresh start and a chance to try something new that maybe you've been meaning to try for years. For some of you, that might be starting a new business, and there's no better place to start than Shopify. Sometimes the hardest part of a new endeavor can be actually starting, and Shopify can help you take that leap and make 2026 the year it all comes together. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Last Stand's merch store is run through Shopify, and I love it because it's made things incredibly easy, and it's helped us create an entire new pillar for our business. Shopify gives you all the tools to easily build your dream store. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates that you can customize to match your brand. Setup is fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines, and help you edit product photos. Marketing is built in too. Create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. As you grow, Shopify grows with you. Handle more orders, expand to new markets, and do it all from the same dashboard. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Duke. Go to shopify.com/Duke. That's shopify.com/Duke. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side.
All right. Next up, Cog, the state of the health is wealth grind. Brandon Stark has the writing and says, hey, gents, hope all of you had a great holiday season to relax and unwind. Since we're in January now, though, it's time to get back on the health is wealth grind. What's the state of health for both of you as we enter 2026? Sharing my own goal for this year. Last year, I lost 35 pounds, and this year, I want to lose another 35 pounds to reach my goal weight, among other metrics I'll be closely tracking. Hope to write in later this year, sharing that I've hit the goal. Cheers to a new year. Cog, I already talked a little bit about some of the mental health as well, but I'm curious how you're tackling the new year. Are there is just business as usual for you? What's going on with health as wealth?
It's weird because I'm in this physically for the most part, outside of like stuff I told you offline, which as far as like getting medication and health insurance nonsense. As far as physically, I'm doing as best as I've done in a while. My consistency has been off the chain. I've been still hitting about 4 to 5 times a week. I got to start posting again, which I haven't posted. I've been ramping the cardio back up, so I'm good about that. The only thing now, there's 2 things I got to work on. Last doctor's visit, they were like, yo, the sugar. Got to work on that. You know what I'm saying? Because as you get older, I guess there's a diabetic range, and then they were like, bro. And I was like, yeah, I think I know what those are and what that is and what I need to work on. You know what I'm saying? Because
speaking of which, lately for Christmas, she got me like a little snack pack, and she got this candy from Sweden. Bro, our VFX artist is from Sweden. I messaged him. I was like, dude, y'all are so blessed over there. The fact that you get this candy. I was like, are you fucking serious? I was like, it was one of the best flavors I've ever experienced. It was unbelievable. Sorry. You speaking about sugar.
You cooking.
That's I'm not like I like salt, but like, dude, that's that type of sweet. I remember you saying you're a sweet tooth.
It gets me, man, because what it is, I do so well, man. I do so well with chicken and rice. And sometimes I can stay in a boring pocket, but it's healthy. But I feel the meal's not complete.
Yeah.
And you see that dessert.
Yeah.
And that damn dessert, it gets me in trouble. And I've tried to substitute fruit. I'm like, okay, fruit, Carl, come on.
That's a good idea. I like that.
You like sweet, that's a little nice.
Yeah.
But every now and then, I still fall off the wagon. It's not enough. And then I'll get the craving. So I got to make sure I don't have none of that nonsense in the house. Also, my weakness is sorbet. Mentally, I was like, it's sorbet. It's not ice cream. It's healthy.
Looks at the ingredient list.
Look at the ingredients. Like, bro, this is nothing but strawberry, raspberry, sugar. Like, come on, bro. Like, I just can't help myself. So I got to work on that. And then the other thing is, obviously, Cog's getting older. This is the year. I've been putting it off. Not my fault. A lot of this was insurance stuff, but this is the year I got to get old man stuff done, which is colonoscopy, like physical. I get like, it's that time because not that my family has a history of it, but men, these are all my OG lords and dukes.
Yeah.
We got to get this done because you want to get the early detection if there's any cancerous things. And I think, obviously we got a lot of people who are close to us that that are suffering things. I've had people, friends and family, and I had, what you call, somebody just passed. Oh my God, someone just passed. It was, rest in peace, Albert Pinello from the Xbox team. I knew him from the Xbox. Yeah. He just passed of cancer. I had no idea. So shout out to everybody on socials who will get bigging him up. He was there during the OG Xbox One.
Yeah.
He was actually one of the first people I met and was responsible for helping me get into my very first Xbox Fan Fest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Awesome guy. He eventually went to Amazon Luna and left the team. I said right before the series generation, but super technical guy. Anyway, that scared me. And
I'm at that point too, where just like I see the news. We'll talk about some news, and it's just like, bro, you feel that you don't care for so long, at least in my experience, because I'm in my teens, I'm in my 20s. But once you hit 30 and you start to look at the fragility of life, it hits you where you're like, there's this urgency to get shit done. Yes. And there's this fear that you won't be able to get it done. Yes. And it just, oh man, it's tough.
It's tough because last year was my year. So you can't get it done, And everything happened and I couldn't get it done. This year, I'm like, bro, you have to get it done because like you said, the fragility of life. And as you'll see a theme with this show, we're at that point, bro. 2025, 2022, we are losing luminaries. We are losing.
That hit me really hard.
Oh, we're gonna get to it.
We should kind of lead with that one.
Yeah, let's just go.
In a moment here. Yeah. Let's just jump into it because my health is what I already kind of talked about here. This one, man, you broke the news for me. I was in the parking lot of a grocery store and I get a text from you and it's a Twitter link. And anytime you text me a Twitter link, I'm like, okay. I'm like, what is it?
Yeah.
Bro, when I saw that it was Vince Zampella, I was like, I just saw Vince Zampella. I'm like, oh, like new Star Wars game or new, like, bro, when I saw he passed away, I was like, are you fucking serious, dude? We have a write in here from Neo JD. He says, Dukes, enjoyed the holiday episode. The final moment looking back at the love was special. Sorry to start off the year on a downer, but with Maddie finally playing Titanfall 2, we got to discuss the passing of an industry icon. Rest in peace, Vince Zampella, someone I for sure can say affected my life and the people I grew up with. Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, Titanfall, Apex Legends, Star Wars Jedi, and finally Battlefield 6, the top game of 2025. What a run. I know you both tweeted about it at the same time, but I'd like to have him remembered one last time on the pod if you'd indulge me. Thank you. And it certainly won't be the last time Vince comes up. I mean, as you said, like legit legend.
Yeah.
And I just want to walk through, I guess, the emotions, at least that I felt, and I'm curious what you felt. Because for me, it was like devastating, you know, like I'm not going to sit here and act like you spoke highly of him the way like I would speak of a Todd Howard, right? Like that was the connection. But like, I think there was two things that hit me. One was you process like the run he had, and there's people who we say like everything you touch turns to gold. But this was that man. I mean, the best quote to describe it was the one you invented, dude, was he's never made a whack game. And he never did. And it's such a shame because he still had so much left to deliver. I think the main thing that hit me though was we've been so lucky as an industry. And I think you can just tell by the way people talk about shit and talk about other people. We've been so lucky as an industry to have enjoyed our legends. Like they're not like, let's list a few. Sven Binky, Todd Howard, Harvey Smith. You know, the list goes on of all these people. Hideo Kojima, of course.
For sure.
Vince was on that list where you're like, they're fine. They're here. They've been around for so long and so deeply embedded in gaming that you just expect them to be there. And when we lose someone like this on that level, who's ripped away from us in a flash, it was something that I don't know if you had this same experience, but it kept popping up in my head. I kept thinking about it, dude. And I was like, I just couldn't get over it. I was like, I can't believe this has happened. And I was like, am I overreacting? Because it's not like I knew the guy personally, but I just thought of like how tragically it was all cut short. And just really made me sad. So that was kind of what I was just experiencing emotionally for a good few days.
Yes.
Like, I just wasn't trying to shake it off because I think it's important to feel that. But I was like, just right before the holidays too, man. I was like, just awful. So, I mean, this is one of your icons, man. So just walk me through where you were at.
This hurt. And again, it shows you the impact because I've never met Vince Zampella. One of my biggest regrets is never meeting him. And I came close 2 separate times. Now, obviously, I'm great friends with Ryan McCaffrey and, you know, the OG Duke. And I studied him, you know, with interviews and stuff. And I remember when he had Vince on. And I was really intrigued by his story, and especially Medal of Honor, and then coming from that to Call of Duty. And I'll never forget because as a kid, I didn't understand why I loved something until I got older. And when I got older, what I realized was like I was a Halo kid from that Xbox generation on, and I loved it. And there was a reason. The gunplay, the feel. First console kind of competent shooter.
Yeah.
But I remember playing Call of Duty, and I was like, I'm kind of done with Halo at that point. And Modern Warfare, because it was just something about it. One was the frames, the fluidity, the perk system, the multiplayer. It had the addictive aspect to it, but it had the fidelity of the performance. And I realized, wait a minute, this is what 60 frames per second is. Oh, okay, now I see why people go crazy. Okay. And that became its thing. And then, like we said, the history, he leaves, obviously, goes, Respawn, all that other stuff. Titanfall was everything to me. As a person
Titanfall 1, bro,
who stood by the horrible launch of the Xbox One.
It was a vindicating moment, right? When we finally got that game.
That game, I remember vividly. That was the first time my 360 bros who left for PlayStation, rightfully so, they were upset, right? They went for PS4. They're like, bro, it's cheaper. It's more powerful. See you later, Cobb. I said, I'll feel you. You know what I'm saying? I can't fight that.
Yeah.
But I got that Titanfall. Bros came to me like, yo, how was it, Cobb?
Yeah.
Like, it's that. I'll never forget. It's just the uniqueness, the pilot, the Titan classes,
all running.
And
It's the only game I can think about where I didn't care there wasn't a campaign.
Yes, I was like, it plays so well. It was so fun, and I'm just like, man, I this is revolution. I don't know how he put this formula of ingredients that doesn't seem to mix and make it work. And I'm just like, I'm blown away. And then I remember, I'm a Transformers kid. So now you put me in a mech and I feel like I'm, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going crazy. I remember, shout out to all the hours of nights of Last Titan Standing mode. I love that mode. Last Titan Standing mode. Titan on Titan. Oh, it was the greatest. So that, and then I remember, okay, Vince, you did everything. I was like, wait for that next Titanfall, right? Yeah. Nah. You get the Apex Legends. I was like, there goes. It was like my grounded moment. Yeah. He gonna mess it up. Yeah. He's gonna blow the streak up. Nobody's doing this live. Bro, why Apex Legends was fire? Why Apex Legends redefined and then had systems that Fortnite stole to this day, and then also how to communicate to other players without voice chat if someone doesn't have it. Bro, it was just unique stuff. And I'm just like, yo, he did that again. And then obviously for you, Jedi was a moment.
That was where he felt untouchable.
Yes.
Because it was just that, I think that's what I processed him, right? I was like, yeah, Call of Duty, whatever. Titanfall I loved, but obviously we'll talk about later. Got to Titanfall 2 very late, so I just had these very strong memories of Titanfall 1. I was like, yeah. But then here comes Respawn, who I know for first-person shooters, and they're like, yeah, we're going to make like what I still think is the best Star Wars game since the golden age of Star Wars games in the early 2000s, like KOTOR era, Republic Commando. Like, here comes that. And it's got like Souls-like elements to it. Just unbelievable. And Jedi Survivor, I know, had a pretty disastrous launch when it came to like PC. I was lucky to review it on PS5, where if it was bad, if it was bad for me on performance, I would have called it as was, but I was fine.
Okay.
Bro, that sequel fucking kicked so much ass. There's a part of that ending that still lives rent free in my head that I love so much. And I eagerly await when Respawn steps forward with the next entry in the Jedi series. But that was where he registered for me. I was like, dude, this guy's like, everything he touches is great. Like, this is
literally
unbelievable.
And then the cherry on top gets pulled off. Go do Battlefield. So Battlefield's been in a rut, right? It's been a minute. We love Battlefield, but it's been a minute. And everybody's like, come on, bro. Like, it'll be okay, but you know who the king is, right? How are you going to leave? That's like leaving a Super Bowl winning organization in Call of Duty. You're the creator. You're the co-creator of that. You leave that to go to the ops, to go to the other division, to go to another team that had a failing record and then win the Super Bowl on your way out before you leave us and defeat Call of Duty with Battlefield 6. It's insane. And that's the saddest part. That's why it really hit me, because like, man, like his career was insane, immense, the accolades, crazy. Man. But he didn't get a chance to even enjoy this as much as we would have liked. And I'll be honest with you, this devastated me. Losing him was just like, man, what do we do? But the coolest thing was, I know I felt it, but I love everybody. If you make video games, I love you, right? Mm-hmm. But to see the outpour of love and appreciation from other every luminary was like, no, Vince was that guy. Vince did this. He inspired me. I see the Warframe develop. Hey, if it wasn't for him, this, that, and the third. Bro, that's one of my biggest regrets was just, man, I wish, at least I spoke it into existence. I was like, I would love to interview the man. You know, I felt for Ryan because I don't know if you saw Ryan McCaffrey's post. He had said, after the Game Awards, they had set up an interview. Oh, and he was just like, I was going to do it, but he was very busy. I'm going to let him run. We'll reschedule so Ryan didn't get a chance to get his fuck. I was looking forward to that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, it's just, it's so tough. And then obviously the conditions and stuff like that. And it's just sad. It's unfortunate. He's irreplaceable. I do worry. How do you, if you're EA, if you're how do you move forward?
Yeah, that's the type of guy you put all your plans into, and for good reason. You know,
that's really the part. Think about if Todd goes, no disrespect, you know what I'm saying? If Kojima goes, like right now I'm going through it with Harada. I'm nervous. Harada's stepping down. He's with us.
And that's what you and I were talking about during this break. Is I was like, I don't think this industry is still so young, and that it was one of the few times I really sat down. I felt that way because you and I always talk sports, right? Because there's that reverence for the legends, because sports have been around since the dawn of time. So you have in the 1890s and the early 1900s, these baseball stars, for example, and the invention of these sports, and they've been in our culture for so long. But gaming is still so new and only recently accepted, where these names are just really getting established. And I think that's why you see online a lot of, you'll still see shit talking no matter what, but respect isn't really a factor in our industry right now. Maybe it is with the people who work here and for some of the people who have level heads online, but for the most part, there's just a lot of shit talking in our industry. Yeah. And so I think that was one of the few times we can really point to where I think the collective felt a tremendous loss, a surprise loss, and was like, oh my God, this can't be real. Yeah. That's where I was at. I was like, there's just no fucking way. Yeah. And that's the thing, the only thing you can hope from such a tragic thing like that is that's the takeaway, that you don't have to fucking, obsess over all these other luminaries, but that you enjoy while they're around. It doesn't mean you can't be critical and you can't look at their shit and be like, that's not it.
Fair.
But when you start to process that people like Vince are the pathfinders who brought us to now, where indies can step in and be like, the tools are here, the assets are here, and even though I have 1/10 of the team size that people like Vince had, I can now make this big thing that previously was unimaginable. That's what these trailblazers have done.
Yes.
And I can only hope that that's the takeaway when you look at his body of work and what a guy like him did, people can understand that we wouldn't be here without icons like Vince.
Yeah, well said.
I think that's what just had me reeling. I was just like, this is tremendous loss.
It's just tremendous. And again, rest in peace to him and his family and everybody involved. But I really, that was the first time, because I'm the guy that laments, I'm getting older, so I lament stuff. And that was the first time I seen the community collectively. It didn't matter what side of the fence you were, what console you liked, what people were like, man, his games changed my life. If it wasn't for this man, bro, it's beautiful to see. So again, I wanted to give him his flowers. They're a tremendous contribution to the industry, and then
truly
we're reeling, man. We gotta see how we're gonna move forward, man. This is tough.
Yeah, truly an ideal portfolio, right? When you see all of his body of work, and then you see the outpour of support, and you see how those franchises have touched different eras of people's lives, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the biggest Call of Duty fan now, but Call of Duty was a major part of my life. As I said, I was a competitive COD player, but before that I was a casual, and that's all I played throughout late middle school.
We was
high
about
school.
That prestige life. All of us at one point.
Yeah, like everyone was. And it just reached that level that no one has really seen up until, I guess, Battlefield 6 now, right? Which, funny enough, is from the same guy. You know, and just, I guess, his ability to assemble talent as well. You know, like this led to me, bro. I'll just say, when I finished Titanfall 2, I was like, this shit was so good.
Yes.
And there was that moment of like, oh man, like, okay, I gotta see who's behind this, right? The director, Steve Fukuda, still at Respawn, working on his own thing right now. They don't know what it is. They said it's not Titanfall 3, but I was like, okay, this guy has, I looked at his Moby Games profile.
Hell yeah.
This man's been with Vince side by side since COD 4, bro. So
facts.
So there's still, I think the baton can be passed in that way, but man, just beyond the games, it's just the loss of a beautiful life, you know, guys people seem to really love. And, you know, you hear a lot of don't meet your heroes, but it was good to see in light of this that, you know, people spoke highly of him. So
very well said.
Yeah. Just rest in peace, Vince Zampella. And thank you for all the incredible experiences.
Much love and respect.
All right, Cog. We got some other news to dive into in the world of video games. Let's start off with this one here. Bethesda wants to make a 600-hour Fallout game. So, this got, there's so much news because, like, you know, Bethesda was outside during my holiday break. So, I was adding to this video list on my phone like every other day. This is one of those because I saw this headline. I went, huh? Not in a great way. I'll explain. Okay. So Emil Pagliarulo, who's the design director at Bethesda Game Studios, and I say this with all due respect, but I'm sure people who are familiar with Emil are probably familiar with him for a bad reason. If you just search his name on YouTube, people say that this is the man who's responsible for Bethesda's, quote, poor writing quality. And I've always said that the leaders are responsible for these things, but at the same time, like, it takes an army, it takes a village. And I can't think of any one singular incredible game or singular terrible game where it all comes down to just one person. Like, even someone like Vince, who we were talking about, I was mentioning, he assembled great talent around him.
Absolutely.
Like, that's a skill. With that in mind, though, I've also had positive encounters with Emil. He's a nice guy, but this comment here, bro, and he just has a habit of doing this, dude, where he just doesn't say good things. Like, I don't know what else he doesn't really beat the allegations. Is how I would put it.
Oh man.
So he says, I would be happy with a game, speaking of the next Fallout game, that is as successful as the previous Fallout games, that continue to give fans what they love. Now, you stop the quote there. I'm like, okay, great. Thanks, Emil. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Emil.
He says, to give them a story that they can get into and systems that they love and really just experience, that they play not for 20 hours and not for 100 hours, but an experience that they can play for 200, 300, 600 hours, because that's the kind of games that we make, end quote. Okay. So playing, I'm like on my post-nut clarity with Fallout New Vegas right now, right? I'm walking out, I'm like, okay, I've smelt the roses. I've platinumed the game. I've seen all the routes again. Took me 50 hours to do that. Man, we do not need 600 hours of Fallout to be good.
You don't need 600.
I love Fallout more than most out there, I would say. Dude, this is not... Number one, I don't think this is what Bethesda does. They've taken on so many different ways of identifying themselves that I just don't comprehend how they got there. I'll talk about that in a moment. But when it comes to these open world games, man, I feel like this is a recipe for failure, because basically your design becomes based around replayability. And you can see that in Fallout 4, in Fallout 76, and you can even see it in Starfield. All these games were focused on, like, how do we get players to spend these hundreds of hours? The difference between Skyrim and before Bethesda Game Studios and Fallout 4 and after Bethesda Game Studios is it's not as simple as how I'm about to label it, but they just made really incredible games. Right. And they were so captivating that you would, like any great RPG, years later, come back again, because their games are great and they had a very moddable engine. Fans got to easily make their own content. So now players come in and they go, I want more of this thing I love, and the fans are going to provide it. And that's awesome. And like, Bethesda works their community, and it was like a really good cycle. Post Skyrim, Bethesda didn't really understand that task. And so what they try to do is like a settlement on your map, go take it out, or whatever the fuck Preston Garvey says. Here's
another
1,000 planets with randomly generated points of interest. Yes, you can get to that 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000 hour mark easily. But what's more valuable that I think Bethesda Game Studios just really doesn't see anymore is like that when they made a Skyrim, you can beat. You can hit the bottom. It's an experience. Like you'll be there for 100 hours, no doubt. Not including DLC, by the way.
Right.
You'll be there for 100 hours. But you hit the bottom. And when you hit the bottom, you eventually bounce back up and you do it all over again. But because these games that they make now are so bottomless, there's a lack of reference for them because the content designed to make them bottomless isn't fun or exciting. I don't want to go clear out my 80th settlement. I don't want to go explore Planet J in a random solar system I've never heard of,
Planet J.
And so you're not Planet J. And so when I see quotes like this, where it's like, these are the types of games you make, my immediate response is like, no, it's not really. Like, that's not what you guys were known for. This is not the expectation we put on you. You guys just made incredible, memorable open world games because there was finite content, not infinite content. So I looked at this and I went, oh boy, well, at least we're getting those remakes. But I mean, look, Fallout 4 had replayable content, and even I bounced off of that in my biggest of fanboy phases. Like I hit like hour 150 and I went, yep, like good, moving on. Not everyone's me. I understand and respect that, but I just look at this and think that's not the recipe for a great game ever. Just like never finding the bottom, never knowing where it ends. Because then everything becomes more and more procedural, which we see how that went with Starfield. So Cog, I'm curious, did any alarm bells ring for you when you read this? Did you see this and go, actually 600 hours of Fallout, Maddie? I could get down with that. What are your thoughts on this?
It's funny. I'm in mostly in agreement with you. I think what it is as a person who's gotten older, I don't like when game dev and, when people discuss about their new title and they go, yo, we've got 200 hours of content, that doesn't impress me. That actually turns me off because it's like, there's a part of me that, remember I told you, I have open world fatigue, things need to be captivating to me. So when I do hear these kind of statements, initially I get turned off and I'm going, like you said, like, is this you trying to artificially inflate, what I'm saying, just the amount of time spent to have that kind of engagement? And then you worry about metrics, you worry about, monthly active users, you worry about, all these things, settlements, which again, I'm not necessarily a fan of. I'm never the guy that's going to do that kind of stuff. Salute to the people who do, but that's just not me. So I do worry about that in this age where they want you to be playing games for hours because that is money. Monthly active users, daily active users, that is money for a lot of these corporations and companies. However, the only thing I will say in defense to Emil is that what I think he was trying to say, but he didn't word it correctly, was that we make these experiences that, you not only play for these hours, is because the games that we make were amazing and you want to live in this world for that thing. I just think it probably was not worded correctly. I hope the mindset is that you're just not going to give us just vomit content and soulless questing and soulless stuff. You know what I mean? We don't want that. So that's what I think he was trying to say. Like, hey, us, we've made these games like Skyrim. We made these games like Fallout. These games, you just live in it because you want to live in it. And I think if he would have expressed it that way, we wouldn't say, but when you express it this way, I think it is a mistake on his part. I will give you this, to express and throw that a beefy number. 400, 600, that's not going to excite people, especially coming off your more recent track record, your more recent history. That's why people are looking at you like, you know what I mean? So that's all it is. So that he got to get a little smoke for the way he worded it, but I think he was just meaning good. This is not the way that. We hope this wasn't the way to verbalize it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Obviously, as we'll talk about in a little bit, whatever Bethesda themselves proper does with Fallout next, as in a new mainline entry, is at least 6-7 years away, man. So it's going to be some time.
Yeah, they just greenlighting stuff now, kind of.
Yeah. So we'll see. But we'll talk about in our main headlines some new stuff happening with Fallout. So yeah, we'll get into it. Don't worry. All right. let's continue the trend from 2025. Xbox console sales are downright terrible. We got yearly statistics and UK stats to go through for you. VG Charts has shared their latest console sales estimates, and they go up in November. And it suggests that Xbox has sold over 2 million Xbox Series X and S consoles this year. Compared to 2024, this is said to be a negative 45.1% decrease from the previous figure, which was 4.79 million. So what you combine here in just estimates alone is 6 million consoles in 2 years. And that's just, even in the most favorable of estimates, not good at all. Especially when Xbox is shipping games, by the way. We know this coincides with, obviously, when they stopped doing exclusives and became more of a third-party publisher. Then Christopher Dring shared some stats on Twitter. And this is for the UK specifically. He says sales of Xbox consoles were down 39% in the UK during 2025, making it comfortably the worst year on record for Xbox consoles. With the return of favorite Xbox franchises in 2026, might things improve this year? So, yeah, it's just not looking good when it comes to the the console front. Obviously, we know why. This is not like a, whoa, what? And we know it's not a thing that Xbox wants to improve, but it definitely says a lot about where they're headed, which we'll also talk about in Satya Nadella's latest write-up. But Cog, when you see these stats, do you feel anything now that it's 2026? You know, we've turned the page. We're looking at the yearly revision. Hardware sales are down. This is the company that's going to push new hardware onto us maybe in the next year and a half or so. How do we feel when we read something like this? Which, by the way, in fairness, doesn't seem to account for Xbox Ally sales, which could be in the higher hundreds of thousands, maybe a million or over a million. Who knows? But Cog, hit me with it. How are you feeling?
You know, water's wet. I mean, look, when I see this news, does it bother me? Yes, because as a person who is a Xbox console purist, right? That's the preferred way I like to play. Call me a purist. You know, that's what I do. I'm a console guy, you know? Yeah. So when you see, you're like, man, look how far they are falling, right? And it just, basically, Xbox is dead as we once knew it. It's just the facts. We can't run from that. Like, they're not in the business of trying to sell hardware to that. They are aggressively moving away from hardware, but it's just so, I guess, in fairness to the reporting and in fairness to, you know, people who love the brand, it is shocking to see, you know, the year-to-year decline just continue to go the way it is, because we know when they were once competitive in the space, it wasn't this precipitous, right? You didn't see this level of drop-off. So it just goes to show you, you know, this is where they are. They do not care. Like they go run that price up on you 2 times. They go run that Game Pass up on you. They are not in the business anymore. It just, as a person who's a purist, it does hurt to see, because my latest concern is, we know you're going to do the, you know, your publisher, you're going to put the games everywhere. You got the biggest franchise, your lineup, which we will discuss, is one of the biggest lineups going. You control mostly every major IP. You got tons of games, right? That's great. My only concern is, as of right now, what I consider is their base is, they're very sticky 30 million. These guys that are on it, they're sticky. Pause. they like to stay there. They like to be there. You know what I'm saying? So the concern is, now when you are this aggressive or getting out, when you're getting beat by some random Connect-like device and hardware, right? When you're that in the doldrums, you do not care about it. The concern is now when the next generation comes out. I think this is a fair concern. Will third parties be like, hey, why develop? That's where they have to incentivize what they're doing, whether it's the Xbox PC, which we're going to get into with Jez's article, you know, they still have to figure that part out as far as people wanting to develop for a platform that is extremely diminished, right? And again, they may not care because they're putting their games anywhere and they got a publisher. They may have a plan for that. That's all I care. All I care is I want, as a console purist, I just want another console, and which may be your very last one, because it seems the way you're trending, this is going to be your last one. So that's where I'm at with it. But yeah, I mean, no surprise, but just as a person who's been with the brand for like, damn, they really they are exiting stage left as fast as possible.
Yeah. It still stings. You know, there's those little headlines that get you. This really wasn't one of those, but yeah, that NEX or whatever it was, the motion one. I saw that. I was just like, are you fucking serious, man? Like, it just, the hits keep on coming. You know?
It's like, bro, like that's like us waking up and tickle me elbow beat Xbox sales. Like, what are we doing? Like, you see the you're like, man,
them too, huh? Like, it's
yeah, that's where we at.
Well, we'll have much to talk about in the world of just Xbox games, but for now, let's talk about CD Projekt Red, which I think they're doing some really interesting stuff this year. Keep an eye on them, not because of Witcher 4, not because of Witcher 1 Remake, not because of a new Cyberpunk update or even the Cyberpunk sequel, but because of a new expansion that might be hitting The Witcher 3. So the original story, as reported by Eurogamer, was that, and I apologize, I am definitely going to butcher the pronunciation of this Polish gentleman's name. Bear with me here. Boris Nispilak, I believe it is, but I apologize if I got it wrong. Anyway, he did a documentary a few years back called We Are Alright. It's about the Polish indie game development scene. Shows he has some industry connections. And he said that Fool's Theory, who is working on The Witcher 1 for CD Projekt Red, is making a new Witcher 3 expansion. And he reiterated ahead of the Game Awards in December that he expected the announcement to be made, but that announcement never came. So then after this, a separate voice added strength to this. And again, apologies on the name pronunciation. It was Polish Noble security analyst Matusz Czernowski, who wrote a report on the 16th of December after the Game Awards, which says they expect the next paid add-on DLC for The Witcher 3 to be released in May of 2026. And so after this, Eurogamer had reached out to Boris, who was the original source of the expansion rumors, and he said that his information was verified by several independent sources. He didn't have any further information to share beyond what was in his original podcast, but he did direct him to a potential supporting piece of information from an earnings call transcript attached to CD Projekt Red's recent financial report. It's a piece of information he said he's surprised to see people miss. In the earnings call, CD Projekt Chief Financial Officer, I got another name, I apologize, Piotr Nilubovic, I believe is how you say it. Given our current progress, there is a chance that the new content hinted upon in recent calls and reports may see a release in the coming year, having an impact on our results and increasing the likelihood of achieving the earnings conditions for the first stage of the incentive program, which is a vague statement, but it does mention new content may be released in the coming year. And then they also reached out to CD Projekt Red, and they said that they don't comment on rumors or speculation. So this new Witcher 3 expansion rumor has been kicking around for a while. That's what's going on right now. I would love nothing more than for CD Projekt Red to break this mold, just like Bethesda recently broke mold with like, here, we're shadow dropping this full-on borderline remake here. I would love for games that we love to have them step out, because they'll get supported for this, by the way. This is going to do really well. For other companies to be like, what if we, like, you know who did this, Cog, and I thought it was awesome? Kingdoms of Amalur. It gets a remaster, which was already like, what? That got dug out of the corpse of Big 38 from Kirk Schilling.
Kirk Schilling, yeah.
What a debut, by the way. It's
wow.
Love that game.
Yeah.
But obviously we know there was a whole lot of legal snafu with that. So THQ reaches in, pulls that out, gets the remaster. I'm like, okay, crazy. And then they add DLC to it like years later, just for the fans. It was, I thought, insane. Like, I still can't get over that. And I hope they do more with that license someday. But I hope they find success and actually do this when they do it, because when they drop this, I hope that there are developers like a Bethesda Game Studios, a BioWare, companies that have those revered IP that can go back and be like, what if we just dropped a Oblivion remaster? What if we did an expansion a new one for Oblivion and added on to that. I think that would be really exciting. And no doubt this Witcher 3 expansion will tee up the Witcher 4. And it'll be Ciri focused. I mean, you got to, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like, that'd be so sick. So I think this is kind of like a little, it's not totally new ground in a day and age of live service, but I think it's very exciting ground for like a dormant 2015 single player game that I know got its DLC, got a next gen update. Like, it's been in headlines, but in terms of like a prominent update and people playing it, I think this is a really cool way of going about things. And I think it can unlock a lot of potential for other developers out there. Like, how can we, while we're making this next big thing, like a Witcher 1 remake, what can we do with this asset library to kind of feed, I don't know, obviously make some money, but like tell a story. And I think this is a cool way to do it. So I'm really interested to see how this goes and when it's announced. But I was already flirting with the idea of like, I've not replayed The Witcher 3 in quite some time. And obviously, as I've said before, I've not played its DLC, which I've heard incredible things about.
Blood and Wine. Though.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. Blood and Wine. They're like, it's better in the base game, people say. So I saw this and I'm looking at my list. I'm checking it twice and I'm just seeing if I can find a pocket, because this is no doubt a 100+ hour commitment. But it's been a while and I want to be all in. Like I want to read the Witcher books. Last Wish. It was really good. Like I want to read that again. And start just getting into it. Get my body ready for The Witcher 4. Because, bro, you cannot find a bigger, in this new Maddie, you cannot find a bigger CD Projekt Red stand than me. Like they feed me well. Yeah. They don't disappoint me often. Keep going, guys.
You feel a lot of love over there in Poland, huh? You like Poland.
Yeah. I wish they loved me back. I've been trying to interview someone from CD Projekt Red for fucking years. They always get back to me, but they're always like, yeah, no one's available. I'm like, come on, man. Get someone on the show.
I'm actually surprised by that. They're usually super cool.
Oh, no, wow. They're cool. They're cool. Yeah, don't get me wrong. They're cool. I make it.
They're not cool. I'm actually surprised that part ain't happened, though. That's all.
It'll happen.
It'll happen. We're going to speak it into existence.
Con, what do you feel of this Witcher 3 expansion?
Tremendous news. Look, we talk about the practices in the games industry that get on our nerves. We talk about all these things that bother us. This is one practice that I really love. I think it's a slam dunk strategy. Revered IPs, either remastered, brought back, and then given that glow up, or like you said, DLC, new content to something that you love that is considered a classic. And for all intents and purposes, we know Witcher is a classic. And we talked about the transmedia aspect to it and what happened there and how that kind of took off. Shout out to Henry Cavill. I don't know what they did with him there, but when they first started, it was lit. Yeah. So this is amazing because, again, part of the industry I like where it kicks off the anticipation for 4. And it gives you that window, that gives you that holds you over, that tides you over, you know what I'm saying? Give that palate wet for this new content. And I think it's dope. So yeah, I love this. Obviously CD Projekt is on a heater lately. So we know what they've been up to. I mean, as far as quality and stuff like that, we know the Cyberpunk story, but Witcher, that's the business right there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm down. I'm down to see what's going on. If you want to give us new DLC. Now, they've set a very high bar, though. Yes. When it comes to expansion content.
Yes.
They are. So I'm curious to see how long that's been in the oven, and yeah, I mean, it's one of the studios right now that they really can't miss a beat. They've been really, really cooking when it comes to RPG and Geralt is iconic. So
yeah, absolutely. Cog, this next one, we love to hear from Sandfall Interactive, who is responsible for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. A lot of question marks around what they're going to do next. Obviously, they found themselves in just a brief bit of hot water for the little AI controversy that they were mixed in. But also, we're wondering, like, is Expedition going to be, or Clair Obscur going to be a franchise? Guillaume Broche did tell me that on the interview, but he didn't really define like what they're doing next story wise, or like, is it going to be a direct follow up, or is it going to be something kind of Final Fantasy like, where a new story, same world? We're not sure yet. But the other thing is that this is a team that's endlessly said they were caught very off guard by the adoration this game has received. It's been widely coveted, and so now we have the lead writer at Sandfall, Jennifer Svedberg again, who's talking about how they're thinking about their next game here. Because when I interviewed Guillaume, he says he tries not to think about it. That's what he said to me. He was like, and I totally get it. I'm like, dude, they step in, their first game sets this incredibly high bar, like the biggest Game Award sweep. They're probably feeling we have to do that again, right? I like where their head's at here. So Jennifer says, quote, creatively, we've always let our North Star be our own personal taste in the terms of what we think is cool, what it is we enjoy and want to see. I've seen too many TV shows and books be swayed trying to please a lot of people. And in the process, you end up losing the heart of what's there. So we just feel like we need to trust our instincts and continue to trust the vision behind the studio. And yeah, this is, I think, as good of a response as that you can really get when looking ahead, is that they're just going to trust themselves. Clearly, they know what's good, is how I look at it. And when people develop like fanships and, oh, I love Mael, or I love Verso, or I love this world, like maybe they don't do anything involving, you know, the expedition part of the storyline, just to put it simply. Like maybe they want to do something else entirely, and you see nothing from the first game. I think right now they might be like, that's a little scary, you know, like people kind of want to see these things again and how they evolve, but like they need to trust themselves. And so I'm glad, despite them being like a very new team and they're like, we never made a game before, that they're trusting themselves and their instincts. Because right now is a time of like a true high for them where you can,
oh my God,
the forks in the road for them have been endless on decisions they've had to make. So this is a good sign of where they're going and kind of how they're exploring it. So I'm curious if you feel that same level of assurance that I feel when I read this.
I'm a little nervous for them in a different way. Like, bro, when your first album is Michael Jackson Thriller as your first, like you go Diamond, you go like they are on another level for a first time developer. This is insane accolades. So there is, I get the pressure, right? Where it's like, yo, I want to stay in pocket. This is what they want, right? But you know me as a person who loves developer creativity, I always want you to do what you want. So it's, to me, this is a fork in the road moment, like you said, because it's either you could go the Vince route, let's use Vince, which is like step out, do something completely different in a way, which is scary because you're leaving behind something that is iconic and is proven that is, if you just put a 2 on it, it's out of here. We know if we just put a 2 and here's the Clair Obscur expedition, whatever, it's going to go, right? Or you say, you know what, we're going to try. We trust ourselves to, and our passion and what we want to do to create this other thing. The flip side to it is that sometimes, like, we go, man, why ain't just, if we don't like the other thing, let's just say the random, let's just say it's okay, it's good. But I've seen the flip side where the fans go, man, all you had to do was da-da-da, and they get back. So you just hope that there's no, my only nervousness is there's no catastrophic slip as far as like a, you know what I mean? Like, because you gotta really believe in this thing and you gotta execute. And not that they can't. It's just that with this level of success comes, and this is, again, I'm gonna key in on Vince Zampella's greatness. Think about the immense pressure leaving Call of Duty to go make something else, to go, you know what I'm saying? And then you having to live up to that, and people go, oh, that's not never going to be what you know what I mean? That's a different level of pressure. So we'll see how they do, but I'm pulling for them. Love that team. My statue notification came in the mail that it's getting shipped to me. I don't know if you got your notification.
I got my mirror edition. Yeah, I got my mirror edition in the mail. It's funny. Actually, when I was wrapping gifts over the holiday break, I just had like a huge stack of boxes and packages over there that I figured everything that came in the mail was like a Christmas gift. So I'm like, dude, I unwrapped like 2 gifts for myself. It was like my New Vegas figure collection. I'm like, oh, for me. And then I opened up another one and it was the mirror edition for Expedition 33. I was like, oh, also for me. Great.
Nice.
So
you get your mirror.
I'm eagerly waiting that statue though.
Yeah, what statue? I got to find a place for it. But yeah, man, shout out to say whatever you guys want to do, and I'm pulling for you. You guys had the goatee cooking.
Yeah, there is such a thing as it being intimidating to start off at like the top of the mountain, right? And just, you know, hitting that peak. But I don't know, man. Like if I'm them, you got to trust yourself because the hate for this game is already so forced. Like I'm not saying people dislike it, but people jumping on the whole AI thing, like that was already discussed when the game came out. And that was so forced. And like award programs were trying to like, you know, oh, we're not nominated. And I'm like, if I was nominated, fuck them. I don't give a shit. But then also, dude, like people not understanding what the Game Awards is. Like, I don't think how the Game Awards nominates in the terms of its process is great. But when people were like tweeting like, Jeff should get involved and make sure that like this game didn't win as many awards. And like I saw a ton of like viral tweets like that, or people talk about it in videos. Like, yeah, it's just so annoying how many it won. I'm like, don't you get it, dude? Like, what? Have you ever watched any award show ever, voted on anything? Not even politically, just have you voted on anything? I would like, who's going to get the last bite of the apple? Like, have you ever voted on anything? It's like the most votes wins. Like, it's not just Jeff goes, I'm going to medal, actually. Like,
I'm going to medal.
like, that's not how it works,
What kind
man.
of interference can I do here?
Yeah, like what kind of interference can I get in? So when I look at this and I see people trying to, I'm like, y'all are just trying to hate this thing, man. Like, you're trying to find the blemish.
So people are really going extra. And I'm like,
second game comes around, people are gonna be like, all right, step up. I want to knock your ass out.
Facts.
And so if I'm them, just do what you got to do. You know, like whatever you want to do. It's the best. It's the best course always.
Yeah, generally it is.
I mean, it was not the best course though, Cog.
Uh-oh.
AI playing games for you. We got this patent here. Sent this my way. You said, we're in the Matrix now. Oh, man. Sony has patented a new technology that would see PlayStation games play themselves with the help of AI. This is written up by videogameschronicle.com. They say, as described in patent documents, Ghost Player would see players call down an AI-generated ghost version of the player character, which could either play out the solution to a particular part of the level or complete it entirely. The patent was originally filed in September 2024, but the World Intellectual Property Organization published an international status report on the patent this week. For example, if a player were stuck on a puzzle in an Uncharted game, the guide mode would seemingly present an AI-controlled Nathan Drake demonstrating the solution before the player did it themselves. The complete mode would simply complete the section for the player. Yeah, I know you're already thinking about the DM I sent you. Modes in the games that assist with puzzles and combat challenges are common. Many games will allow players to skip encounters and lower the difficulty if they find them too challenging, and puzzle games often include a hint system for those who are completely stuck. However, some modern Sony titles, such as God of War Ragnarok, have been criticized for giving players too much assistance with puzzles due to NPC companions loudly hinting at the solution of the puzzle as soon as they begin. It is claimed that the AI model would be trained on existing footage of the game instead of being a pre-recorded series of inputs set by a developer. The AI-generated Ghost Player system appears to be an evolution of the PS5 Game Help system, which was launched alongside PS5. When supported, PS5 Game Help could provide players with guidance via images or video via the PS5 card system, which can be called up in-game. While not widely used, the system has been praised by PlayStation fans who enjoy trophy hunting due to the convenience of not having to call up a separate guide on another screen, such as a phone. It is worth noting that there is no evidence that Sony has plans to use this technology in future hardware, and that patents like this have been filed by the firm and many others for years without any intention for use. Cog. Ghost Player. I mean, I know we like certain ghosts on PlayStation, like Yote, Tsushima. Sure, why not? Ghost Player, Ghost Mode.
Yeah.
How are we feeling?
You don't want to use complete mode when you get to the part in the boss.
You know what mode I call that? You know what I call that?
I know what you call it.
All right, so for those who are wondering, I texted Cog, and my immediate rage reaction was loser mode. I said, you call it fucking loser mode, bro. Because I think accessibility is fine, by the way, to be clear. But I know who the most people who will literally benefit from this on a financial level are going to be like lazy ass people who are like, oh, I'm going to have the AI bot run the game while I go take a shit outside. It's going to run through the game. I'm going to capture the gameplay. I'm going to upload the entire playthrough because I'm going to beat it before anyone else. Shit's going to get spoiled so much if this mode gets out because people can just auto play games. At least with challenge and time spent, there's a barrier, of some kind that exists. But if I say, bro, can you trust? I talked about this when we first saw the patent. Like, can you trust game reviews? Like, some players are going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to ghost mode.
You said ghost mode.
and then sits back and just watches it and be like, oh, that was an interesting cutscene.
Right.
And just that's nodding their head along. No, like, I think most self-respecting reviewers will not touch this.
Right.
But I look at this and I think this just presents a world of trouble. You know,
We're here now. We're here. Look,
I'm curious what you think. Yeah, I could rant and rave.
No, trust me. I roll my eyes, but in fairness, this is a patent. It doesn't mean 100% is used. But to me, I always look at this as the flirtation, and I look at this as corporations looking at it like, look, this industry, we need more players to play, and look at. Colin says it all the time. Like he'll say like, look at the trophy rate, look at the completion rates. People are not finishing our games or these specific type of games, right? Why is that? What can we do to help, right? And we already see, we've been behind the scenes on certain things with Copilot, right? And on the Xbox side, where it's like, hey, this suggestion, Copilot, can you help me? This, that, and third. Now, I guess I was surprised with this because it was like, no, complete mode. We're gonna do it. I was like,
the section of the game you can get over, right? Like, I think that's not the end of the world. Like, you're stuck. What's the difference between this and changing your difficulty to story mode, right?
But I guess that, though, 100%. I think for me, where I kind of draw the line is like, for example, like on Xbox, I look at the achievements for a game that I like, and when I'm playing it, and I go, okay. I can't watch this one. It's a secret. And then let's say you get stuck. Okay, what do you got to do? And then there's usually a sub link to go to. Sometimes I think they work in conjunction with this True Achievements. And then it'll link you and say, hey, to get this in the altars, you needed to have these type of criteria happen for this specific achievement. Fine. I know PS5, they have the game help. They've been actually flirting with this even further with those, I forgot the terminology. It's like a tablet kind of page thing that pops up and it's a game help thing. Cool. What I do find interesting, and in this article brought up, was the God of War Ragnarok. I remember when that game was reviewed, a lot of people were upset with Atreus running his mouth. Hey, over there, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, let me solve the puzzle, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're too much trying to, you know what I mean? So I get, listen, I am always team accessibility. Yes, I love more players playing. This is just going to be, I don't want to call it a slippery slope, but I just hope that these things are not forced because, it will be abused. And I do see some scenarios that, I guess as a gaming purist, that bothers me. But as the corporate cog in me knows they don't care and they want to get more players playing and completing even with this false sense of skill or whatever it's called, so whatever we're going to call that. But it's interesting. I'm curious to see if they go through with it. This, again, it's just a pattern. Doesn't mean necessarily it's 100% going to happen. But I guess the only thing that did make me cringe a little bit, again, because of my purist sensibilities, was complete mode. I don't know how I feel about complete mode.
Yeah, complete
mode for me. Yeah, and last point. I'm from the era of racing games where you play and it's like, okay, boom, did the lap. This is Cognito's ghost car, lap time, whatever. There's a difference between that and then, okay, now I'm on Daytona 500 or whatever track that, and then now it's like complete mode. I do the hairpin turn for me, do this for me. You know what I mean? Like that. I'm like, I struggle with developer intent, especially for developers who want to make challenging games.
Yeah.
And I'm always about the creativity of development assets. But it's an interesting timeline we're in right now.
Sure is. I won't react too strongly until we get our hands on the real thing. But given the trajectory, wouldn't surprise me too much if we see this one see the light of day. All right, Cog. Next up, while we were off on break, unfortunately, Ubisoft was not. Rainbow Six Siege was hammered by a major hack, and it completely taken over the game systems. It rewarded everyone with 2 billion credits. It hijacked the game's logs, throwing digs at Ubisoft. It says they were banning all employees for toxic behavior. It really was like a shit show. After getting it back, it got hacked again just this past week, and players were getting banned instead of getting free credits for 67 days, which we know what they were doing with that one there. I found out during Christmas. My mom knows what the 6-7 thing is. My mom's usually not with that stuff, but I was like, oh boy, this thing's reached her. I mean, God bless. But anyway, it's been hacked twice now, and you've been if you sign in, people are getting banned for harassment offense, is what it says.
Hey,
so it's a shit show once more. Ubisoft is on it once more. Cog, I'm curious as to your thoughts and if you've kept up on this Ubisoft holiday hack at all.
It was brought to my attention. Shout out to my boy Flame from LordsOfGaming.net. He's the one that was telling me, we were talking about storefronts or something, and he mentioned this thing, and I had no idea this had went down. Because what it is, I'm so out of touch with Ubisoft games lately that I really don't log into any of their stuff. I don't really subscribe to Plus. I don't really play a lot of their games anymore like that. So I know Siege is the de facto game, though, right? That's the game that is one of the greatest, comeback stories or turnaround stories into one of the more dominant figures that a lot of games are now trying to mimic. To see this level of breach is pretty scary. And I'm a little concerned because we got that, and I don't know if you saw, I forgot to send it to you. You see that the PS5 has been jailbroken.
Yeah, with that Star Wars game. It's like got up in value because people can jailbreak it with that game.
Bro, the timeline we're in right now with, I guess this is where I'm getting at with all this. My fear right now is I feel my beloved console industry is cooked and we're under siege. Literally.
Yeah.
With the hacking, with the console stuff we're going to get into, with all this stuff and the prices, all this does not incite positivity to stay gaming on console. And I'm just worried. I'm like,
over, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do, right? Because I know Steve looking at it like, you know what I'm saying? Like looking at these storefronts, and yeah, it's rough, man. This is awful. Harassment for like, bro, how you get accused of harassment for logging into something that you own?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's bad.
Bro, it's bad. Yeah.
So that was how they spent their holiday break. Hopefully the people there get some time off after working the holidays to stop the hack. But this next one, Cog, was something we were also talking about during our break. We have updates on Exodus, which is a little bit of a connection to the shirt that you're sporting here today. So for those who are not caught up on the news, James Olin, who was the lead designer of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and founded the studio Archetype Entertainment, with Hasbro just like 6 years ago now, he left. And it's funny because when I was reading back on all the information on Archetype Entertainment and their history, when they opened the studio and they were asking James in an interview like what he wanted to model his studio around, he said the good times at BioWare. And in the most BioWare thing imaginable, he leaves before the thing ships. Now I read this and immediately I'm like, red flag on the play. Like,
with the deal, you're like,
I literally said to Cog, I said, this shit's so cooked. Because I'll pull up some of the excerpts. I have a whole video on it, but
okay.
If you read some of the things that this guy was saying when he joined, like he'll talk about in a moment here when we get into his personal comments, he left because of like burnout and because he wanted to work on his own thing. But this studio was created for him to work on his own thing. So him stepping away from it, to me, doesn't add up with his excuse for leaving. Like they don't coincide. It's like, it's not like, oh, you were working, you were in the beast, you were just a cog in the machine. It's like you were the head of the thing that was sold to you. Like you were told like, this is your thing. Maybe that's not the case anymore, but that's part of the problem. We don't really know. And as we'll talk about with Exodus, there's things we don't even know about the game yet that we feel we should know. Now, when you and I first discussed this, Cog, as the year was rounding out, we learned that Exodus was losing its leader in James Olin, but also that he never spoke for himself, right? Like we were worried reading that article from Bloomberg. It was like, oh, we don't really see what James had to say. Just corporate at Hasbro was kind of speaking for him. So he put out a statement on Twitter and he wrote, there has been some speculation about me stepping down as studio head of Archetype. That decision was one I made last summer. While Hasbro would have preferred I stay, the departure was amicable and fully supported, and I remain on good terms with everyone involved. After more than 6 years building Archetype and leading a AAA project while balancing both creative and business responsibilities, I reached a point where stepping back made sense. Burnout is not unusual in this industry, and it felt like the right move for new leadership to guide the project forward. Exodus is in a good place, guided by creative leaders I have worked with and trusted for decades, including Jesse Sky, with whom I originally founded Archetype. Right now, I am focusing on what I enjoy most, story and world building. I am developing new worlds through my own company, Arcanum Worlds, and I also have a couple of upcoming books funded by Hasbro that I'm excited to share soon. So he's still making things, but again, when he founded the company in Archetype, the story is he left BioWare. He was out of the game. He said he got a bunch of offers and turned them all down because he thought, I'm done. Hasbro picked up the phone and called them, and it was an offer so good that he flew up to them, and I think it was Seattle, to talk to them face to face because it was a offer, like a Godfather offer you couldn't refuse, right? So they gave him that. They gave him the keys to the castle to effectively build what we think might be the next Mass Effect. And it was a very ambitious RPG. If you have been given that opportunity, obviously things can change over time, right? But when you're given that opportunity and it's your thing, and then you talk about, I'm leaving to work through my own company, Arcanum Worlds, I'm like, wasn't this yours?
Right.
And then to an extent, right? It's owned by Hasbro, but your ship to steer and that you're working on books. I don't want the game to be bad. I don't think it's going to be terrible or anything like that, but I can't not raise an eyebrow at this ultimately, because as you and I discussed, Cog, we worry about the things we haven't seen, like dialogue, like choice and consequence. Like everything else I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, voice acting quality seems good. Animation seems good. Combat looks good. Movement looks good. Like, okay, I'm seeing all these pieces here, but I don't understand what the game's flow is right now. I don't know what that cycle, that loop is like narratively and gameplay wise to really get what I'm looking at here. I just see cool bits of the game because the main thing it's missing is June Aslan, the main character, talking to other characters. Do you choose what he says? When you make choices and this timeline changes, how is that presented to you? It's something that they've talked about extensively in their Q&As that I've watched all of them multiple times because I'm so excited for the game, but they've never shown it. So when James Olin is like, I'm out and it's in good hands, I just feel that's never a reassuring sign at the very best. So I'm curious what you feel now that we've kind of sat on this news for a little bit, how you feel about what's going on with Archetype leadership and Exodus.
Yeah, man. Well said how you broke it down. I mean, this is so weird. I am legit conflicted because there's a part of me that's like, okay, if you're James, you go over there, you are requested, you sit down with Hasbro, they literally want you to head, a franchise, and you kind of be the chief, the quarterback running this thing, and GM, so to speak, running this thing. And it's like, to leave, first, here's the part where it conflicts me. Where he goes, stepping back makes sense. Burnout is not unusual in this industry, and it felt like the right moment for new leadership to guide the project forward. So there's an inference to me that there could be, some burnout there, and that, but the departure was amicable. I have to admit, there's a part of me, because then when you go, because like you said, Maddie, he went there to create his own thing. This is your baby. You're given the full reins and the control. But now you're focusing on what you enjoy most, story and world building, and I'm going to develop with my own company. So to me, I'm going to read between the lines. It feels like some form of creative difference, potentially. And he's like, yo, I'm out. So I don't know if more hands I'm speculating, but I don't know if more hands got in the project or there was a hard line on a decision that he didn't agree with. Something happened that he has made this decision, because this is not a clean break as they're kind of making it to seem. The only thing that I did like that he said is that he remained on good terms with everybody, and that when he said the game's in a good place, I'm like, okay, you wouldn't say that necessarily if you felt the game was complete dog water, they're destroying everything. He is giving them some form of a big up, but I agree with you, Maddie, there's still question marks, because if everything's good and this was your baby to control, why do you have to leave now to create your own baby? That still kind of infers to me, still gives me a hint. Something creatively is off, or he disagrees with, or maybe some financial thing. There's more to this story that we don't know. And the fact that he had to make that statement, because we did think it was weird in the first one. We got the first statement from Hasbro, like, yo, this. I was like, yo, I want to hear from him. And then for him to make the need for this statement is kind of interesting. So yeah, this is a weird one, and we got an Exodus from Exodus. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, this is wow. I look, from what I've seen from this game, I think this game looks cool. You see, I got my N7 shirt on. No one has attempted to tackle this sci-fi Mass Effect, niche in this way. And I felt this was the closest. So I was getting really excited. And obviously they're doing a lot of ramp up with the promotion. They've been talking about it now. Obviously the game, we still got to wait till 2027. I'm with you, as a Mass Effect fan, I need to see that dialogue though. I need to see that dialogue wheel or whatever iteration that you have so that I know choice and consequences plays the fact, because let's be honest, that's really what made Mass Effect. The fact that, they could have all this tremendous writing and all these divergent paths when maybe only 5% of players picked, but it was so impactful if you went that way. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I'm kind of went back to, and we get into what we're playing, is why I love this game. It's such an undertaking to make this kind of a game. If you truly intend to fill that void that's been left by Mass Effect. So yeah, this is something to keep our eyebrow on. So that's where I'm at right now. I am conflicted. I will give you this, Manny. There are things that don't make sense to me, even though he's trying to his best wrap this up as a bow. Maybe there's a beef. Maybe there's a beef with, again, I'm speculating. Like, how you just, maybe you get there and you just can't work with one person, and you like, it reminds me sometimes of about my people that split too from Playdead. Remember? And I'm like, damn, y'all had inside, y'all had the, and then one goes off to make Somerville, the other one goes off to make the, what was the other joint that was super dope? What was it? Oh man, I forget the coconut. I forgot the name. Cocoon. Coconut. Coconut rum.
Put me out of the bath, so it worked.
Oh, see, I'm drinking too much sugar. I'm drinking too much. While we're here talking about coconut rum, the game named Cocoon. But that's where I'm at with it. But yeah, we'll see. Let's keep our eyes on this. This is interesting.
Yes. All right, sir. We've done a lot of gaming over this Christmas break. Let's get into what we've been playing. What have you been up to, sir?
Probably the Lord of the second playthrough.
Yeah, holy crap.
Bro, I just got into this weird thing where just like I had my ROG with me a lot when I was traveling, and then also again the heart just wanted to play these specific things. So first I got to start off with obviously the shirt, see the N7. The Exodus trailers were invoking things. So it's time. I haven't done it in a while. Probably since, when did the Mass Effect trilogy drop? Maybe what?
2021, I think.
It's been a minute. So I was like, you know what, man? I got the fever. I need Mass Effect right now. So I did a full Mass Effect 2 playthrough. And man, I love
DLC as well, or just the base game?
Yes, I had to come on, Shadow Broker.
Yeah, of course. He's gotta make sure.
On. Like that to me, I like that not being part of the base was kind of weird. Now that you look back at it, because it was so vital to her character development and what she had been doing. She was this lovable, bookwormy kind of person in the first game, and then the second one, you're like, oh, there's some darkness here. She sees some things. Like she's been through some things, and now she has information, and to see that transformation was super dope. And I went full Renegade, which I never do.
Oh, you were punching out reporters?
Well, I'm knocking reporters out. I'm being such an ass. Like, I was bad, bro. And I loved every minute of it. Yes. Unfortunately, with this playthrough, with my tally, and I went the tally route this time. Normally tally is always up high on the list when it comes to techy, super cool. And I don't know what I did, but I think I messed up, and Legion was not pleased. Oh. And there was the confrontation, and I was like, damn, I forgot. I missed the step to stop that outcome. And obviously, I still to this day, the suicide mission is one of my favorite things in gaming. And it just, the preparedness to get ready for it, the stakes at what could be lost. I loved doing a lot of loyalty missions. I did look back now and I'm like, okay, there were still two characters that I'm like, what's my man, beefy boy? I forgot his name, Vega, whatever his name is. For in 2, he was down. He wasn't Cerberus because what you call it was Cerberus, Miranda, and
Not Jacob. Or
Jacob was kind of.
You talking about? I can now. I'm forgetting. I can see.
But it's like there was a little flatness with that character, and then I forgot about the
Dude Bro, right?
Dude Bro, and then I forgot about the DLC characters from what's my man? He was kind of I wish they would have gave. It was, I believe one was Kasumi.
Yeah,
and then there was another dude. He was like an old gruff war veteran kind of guy. And
this is the last time to replay the damn game. Holy crap.
Bro, there's so much to it when you play it.
I think Thane and like Legion, and that's really it.
Yeah, they were the DLC. Kasumi was kind of like the invisible stealth.
Zed?
Yeah, there you go. And I'm like, man, I like your character, but you could tell this is where the DLC part conflicted with the game because he wasn't, like everyone else gets those full on, cinematic dialogue box. And then when you talk to them, it stays in game mode and they have the conversation. You got to keep kind of checking on them in the ship and stuff like that. So just little nitpicks. I was like, oh yeah, I wish those were kind of fleshed out, but still enjoying my time. So good, man. So shout out to my Mass Effect 2 playthrough. That, bro, I love that game. And the combat was so much better. I went full engineer class, did that. As far as the other second playthrough was I was putting it off, but I finally got to my altar second playthrough. And the cool thing about the altars was the altars that I never got the first go around. I think the first one I had the technician and the scientist who you get by default. You can't escape those two. The first go around, I went with the doctor, who's extremely vital. Personality, again, all done by one person, Alex Jordan. The doctor is he's chill. He's got a little country vibe for some reason. I feel like a southern vibe from it, like a southern twang to this doctor, but whatever, right? But he's cool. He has an ability to, when you get materials and raw food and stuff like that, he could cook like these, kind of like these meals, like these gatherings, banquets to kind of like get everybody's morale up, kind of thing. So you got that. And I did the Shrink, who was super zen. He likes to smoke his little weed on the side, like get his little toke on, And then who was the last one I filled it out? With the, I believe it was the miner. So the miner, he's a weird one, Maddie. Bro start freaking out. He start having addiction issues. You got to decide whether or not you're going to give him some things some uppers or some downers to bring his situation in. And depending on what his situation is, he could be very self-destructive.
Oh.
And yeah, that's another change. So that was first playthrough, ended it. And again, without spoiling too much, if you ever decide to go to, I went with a route decision-wise that was pro altars at the end of the game. It was very scary. As the tension leads up to the very end, you're under pressure to not be found, not to have people discovered, because you're bringing something into the world that has not been done. Now, this playthrough, I'm amazed by this game even more, bro. So again, that was my second set of altars now, because you can't get all of them in one playthrough. You can only, I think it's like 9 or 10, I forgot what it is. The second one now, I got the worker. I didn't know what to expect from this character. Bro, why is your man you're working everybody too hard? You got to stop the crunch hours. Bro, the game has crunch hours. When there's magnetic storms and all these things going on, right? The scientist, he's pragmatic. He's like, bro, we stuck on this damn planet. You're too nice. Work these dudes, bro. We got to get things done. I don't care if they don't like to eat mush and slop every day. I don't care. We got to get things done. So that was my first. I went with the crunch route. Bro, if you have the worker or as your altar on your team, bro, hell no, we won't go. We ain't doing this. Yo, why do you listen to everybody? Why, yo, bro, Alex Jordan's performance. So you got him. I got the refiner, who's a very specific skill set. The work is really good at also in the base with building up your materials and things that you need to upkeep stuff. The refiner, super chill dude, bro. I was like, oh, I've never seen this personality. Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we just build a gym in here, though, like, what's up with the gym? Let's get a module where we can do physical. He's on his health as well. So I'm like, so you got that. And the last one is the guard, which I'm so close to getting now because I'm up to the third act. I mean, when I got to the third act, and then you could get him and lock him, and that'll be my final achievement. Because that's the only alter, bro. This game. I told you the heart says what the heart says, and now they got DLC coming. Man, I cannot wait. So yeah, did that. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, done.
Amazing. Love that game.
Amazing. Shout out. We got a full ILP playthrough with Addict got played, King played, because King helped, bro. I could not be a nihilist.
Oh,
bro, I was getting handled a nihilist on a solo tip. I was like, bro, what's going on?
I barely edged him out when I played him. Yeah, he's tough. Yeah,
super tough. So anyway, bro, you called it. Yo, Surface.
Good. Okay. Yeah. I forgot. I wanted to see how you felt about that. I was like, I thought they did a good job. Okay. Good.
Amazing. Voice was amazing. They made him very zen, which I like. I love he does the
chill surf.
You know what I'm saying? The thing. And then obviously you got your beam blast from far away. The surfboard, like you can use them as combos and abilities and stuff like that. Yeah. Serious. My only thing is that like he really isn't a hand-to-hand fighter. So what they did is kind of like these little Zen kind of moves, which I'm okay with because it's a beat 'em up. So you got to give him some form because Surfer really isn't a hand-to-hand fighter in any type of lore. But they did the best what they could with the character. I felt they respected the character enough that it didn't feel weird in this thing. But bro, he is powerful. And then the thing that I learned, you know what I wasn't doing in that game? I don't be parrying and dodging.
Yeah.
I was just old school. Bro, have you used like the parry?
Once you start getting into that flow, yeah. It's that was the thing that really impressed me is there's like real technical depth and timing and it's just you can play it old school if you want, but it just is a whole other level when you start to embrace the defensive options because Shredder's Revenge only had the dodge.
Right.
This has like time parries and like especially with like Cap.
Man. I am surfing. Like, bro, those parries are powerful. Yeah. So, bro, love that. Shout out to King. Shout out to Addict. Helped me get through. Addict's first kind of beat him up. So that was cool to kind of play an old school kind of game for him. I was like, see, this film easy. He's like, bro, there's too many things on screen. I'm losing my character. I can't find my character.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In defense of him, they probably could from an accessibility standpoint. I'm from the arcade era where it'd be like P1, P2, P3. Yeah. So it could show you over its head. So that's like a little nitpick. But, bro, we had a lot of fun with that. Terminator 2 No Fate playthrough, alternate endings that diverge from the movie.
How's that handling your goat? Let's hear it.
Very good. I was surprised. There was one, I will say this, very dark. Very dark. From the movie, I don't know, remember the scene where this was actually a deleted scene from the director's cut of the movie where
he's got the facts, bro.
Yeah, bro, they went through it, bro. Like they took a scene where Arnold was after they escaped the T2 from the hospital, from the mental hospital, they get Sarah, they go to like this little gas station with the police car, they park, and in that part they're repairing each other up, right? Mm-hmm. Sarah's repairing the Terminator. She's still on edge. Like my son, you see my son, and this is the guy that was hunting me the whole first movie. Yeah. But like, can we trust this? And then there was a period that they deleted where they going to take the chip out to reset, to put him in read-write mode or whatever, so he can't learn on his own or whatever it is. That is a divergent path in the game.
Oh, cool.
You could choose to reset the chip or not to reset the chip with consequences.
Okay.
Crazy. Then there's choices when it comes to Miles Dyson. Whether or not, remember when she breaks into the home, remember, no fate but the fate we make their own. She leaves off to try to stop Judgment Day by killing Dyson. That was her plan. Then the movie, she gets there, she has the emotional break, and she doesn't do it. Then, John Connor and the T-800 come through, Arnold come through, and then, the story goes where it goes, and then they have the different, the ending that we know. Oh, you could choose to kill Dyson right then and there. That's a choice. And then that path is crazy dark. And again, I don't want to spoil it, but it affects future John. As far as existence, and bro, it is crazy. So
I like that.
I'm impressed. I was like, okay, these are subtle changes, not like world breaking, but as a person who loves the movie, they really thought this out. And I was just like, okay, this is really cool. And then one thing I really do like is the future John sequences, like him because that stuff we don't see a lot of in the movies. You get little snippets of him as the commander, as him as the resistance leader and stuff like that. Oh no, you play as him in that moment, in that version of him, and it's super dope. bro, not the most technically complex game, but challenging. The only issue I would have is that from a boss standpoint, the jump has some delay frame things that it doesn't jump with response, the responsiveness that I would like. That's my only thing. And they want you to roll a lot to get out of bullets and stuff like that. Sometimes the game gets a little cheap. And I was like, all right, whatever. But other than that, super good. Nice. What else on the list? We did that. Don't be mad at me.
No, dude, you gotta enjoy your holiday breakout. You gotta enjoy it.
Went back, bro. Destiny Renegades is actually good.
Yeah, it looked fun.
It's actually fun. Look, you know what it reminds me of? Destiny at its lowest was this expansion called The Curse of Osiris.
Yeah.
This is when it was absolute dog water. Bro. Renegades, the gameplay is fun. And I will say, I have to admit, the lightsaber is a game changer.
Nice.
Bro, it is so good. And then now I shout out to my sister. We beat the campaign, and now I'm doing the end game. And I did the invasion missions and their smuggle runs. It's very Star Warsy. It's very Helldiversy. Yo, the gameplay, the weapons, they're in a good pocket from a game. Again, not enough to build the base back. We don't know what's going to happen with the future content. But I have to admit, this is what I consider the Warmind. My D2 veterans know this. Curse of Osiris is their lowest point, and then Warmind came to kind of start to self-correct certain issues. Gotcha. This is their Warmind. I don't know where it's going to go. Apparently, I have 2 expansions planned for the rest of the year. We'll see. Oh. But yeah, I
more than I expected.
Yeah, I thought. It was, look, they all I would say is I see signs of life.
Okay.
I don't know if this is going to be enough to do anything. Same thing. I was surprised with Marathon. We will see, but I see a little bit that I'm like, okay, maybe, but they still got a long road. So that was that, and of course, stuff that I've always been playing, my comfort food, my Tekkens, my DBOs, like DBO campaign 1 finished. Waiting for my shout out to LSM fan. Remember I told you. Shout out to my man Ryan Rook. Shout out to Astro Parrot. Shout out to man Dan. Shout out to man Jimmy. We are like very close to the final part. I just got to get them together because it's my fault. It's on me. I've been away. Wow. I've been traveling, and I didn't want to do multiplayer gaming away. I was like, I just want to do single play. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just said I'll get when I get back in the crib. But yeah, we'll get that done so I can get every single campaign done from that joint. But I have leveled up all my characters and I beat the complete campaign solo on my own. But the Frost campaign I have saved for them. So it's on me, guys. I will message you guys in the DM. I know you can hit me up. But yeah, that's been it. It's been comfort food, replaying a whole bunch of games, Final Fantasy, a bunch of stuff. I've been playing. I played a lot of games. Finished a lot of half-eaten sandwiches. But what about you? What you been doing?
Yeah, so first order of business was becoming a one game at a time guy. Okay. Something else I took from the Bible of Lord Cognito. Just one at a time, right? I want to see how it goes for me. I like having my hand in a couple of cookie jars, but I'm curious to see if, like, when I talked about some of the fatigue I was feeling with like these long-winded games, I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm balancing with this other like 15-hour game and this 30-hour game, and it's like now they compound and they all take longer. So I want to see how this goes, but first order of business into the holiday break was the Fallout New Vegas Platinum Trophy run on PlayStation 3.
Let's get it.
I'm in the 1%. I didn't realize this when I was going for it, but yeah, it's a 1% Platinum Trophy. It makes sense. So let's go through the story here real quick.
Bring it down.
And I don't mean the actual narrative. What I mean is that I was not aware truly, because I was a spoiled little 360 guy, of how bad Bethesda bros had it on PlayStation 3.
Bro.
I knew Skyrim, right? This save bloat bug, or whatever you want, it's not really save, it's not a bug, but every time you take an action in this game, right? Because the game's accounting for everything. Like, you drop an item out of your inventory, the game has to register, okay, that 9mm pistol is outside of Freeside, and that'll always be there. If I come back 30 hours later, that'll be there. So the memory gets bigger. You add an item to your inventory, memory gets bigger. You complete quests, you move through the game, your file size is always going up. As you approach that 1 megabyte range, it starts to get pretty rough. Your frames dip, and if you dare to play the game longer than 3 hours at a time, I have a clip when I platinumed it. I posted it on Twitter, and someone responded. They're like, "Damn, on the PS3 too, like that's crazy. How tough was it?" And I just posted a clip of me in King's Club in Freeside, And it's a 30-second clip of the game at like sub 10 FPS because it's bad. So when that happens, you have to reset the game. And dude, there's so many heart attack moments in this playthrough where I'm just like about to get a trophy and it locks up on me. Bro, this was such a test in so many different ways because I've been spoiled of 10 years of New Vegas on PC.
Yeah.
I did not know this life, but I know it now. And I still love the game. But man, I think a lot of New Vegas fans forget. We'll talk about this as well with the remake rumors. They can't do what they did with Oblivion Remaster to New Vegas because New Vegas on its own is way too buggy. They have to fix New Vegas because I got reminded of like, oh, when I don't have my unofficial patch and my 4 GB enabler, I don't have all these things just lightly stitched into my play. Oh, brother, it's a whole different fucking ball game now. Totally different story here. So that save expanding in size gradually is like a ticking time bomb. And if you're not a fucking surgeon like I was with my playthrough, brother, you're screwed. But the Fallout 3 Platinum trained me for this. I miss getting Platinum trophies. I want to start getting more of them because I've Xbox. I've been waiting on you. I'll get whatever Xbox's Platinum is whenever it comes. But right now, I'm going to PlayStation. I'm getting some Platinums that I've wanted. New Vegas was first order of business, and man, just like really up there with like the perfect open world games in my opinion. Just doing all of that content. I still have some more on the board that I can do. I'm deciding if I want to go through 100%ing the DLC on PS3 or if I just because right now it's at like 50-something% with the Platinum trophy. I'm like, that bothers me.
That bothers you, yeah, to see that. Yeah.
So I might go for it, but I might just play the DLC on PC. I haven't decided yet, but going through it, man, and just experiencing every nook and cranny of it truly. Like I've played this game so many times, but just really taking it at my pace, playing a shit ton of Caravan, going to the strips, getting banned from them, doing every side quest in sight. Just seeing how this game, you can really just mold it to how you want to be. Like, oh, I want to go and see the boomers real quick, knock out their side quest line. And so when I talk to Mr. House later in the game and he tells me to go recruit the boomers, I'll be like, yeah, it's already done, Chief. Like, you know, it's so funny because New Vegas's main storyline, at least with Mr. House, if you've hit the Brotherhood of Steel and you've hit the Kings and you've hit Jacobstown, if you've hit like all these different points, when Robert House is like, go talk to this faction, bro, you just beeline the main story. It's 7 parts called The House Always Wins, part 1, part 2, part 3, and so on. If you do what I did, which is I hit all the side content first and then just the main story, you just skip everything. But I love that. I love that I can do that. I just also love, again, that it's very digestible, bro. Like, the thing I miss most about open world games like this, and this is me doing a little Fallout glazing, I suppose, but I'm speaking generally, is I just love that I'm able to take a big, meaningful bite out of the game and not think, oh, I've got like hundreds of hours ahead of me. Right. I love a big journey. I'm a huge JRPG fan. Of course, I love the journey. But a lot of games fail to justify it. And this is one of those games that understands that it could keep you for longer, but it didn't. And I think it was for the better. And so it was just really nice getting refamiliarized with the things I loved about it. Obviously the dialogue, but even things that I forgot, like this is where Obsidian started to establish themselves as having incredible loot. Like this is where they had this, like what we talked about with the Outer Worlds 2, we're like, bro, this loot, why is it so good? It really started with New Vegas, where New Vegas has so many unique weapons and armor to get, and it makes the quest so rewarding. And going down each of the different faction storylines, because you have to get the platinum, you have to get all of the main story endings. Like just being reminded of like how there's pockets of the game that are completely siloed off, that I'm like, oh yeah, like when I go to the NC, like I can't remember the last time I went to the NCR embassy at the end of the strip. And so when I went to go reload my save to do my NCR playthrough, for the first time in a really long time, I had to look up a guide for a Fallout game and be like, how do I, because like in my quest log, I couldn't see any NCR quests. I'm like, where do I go to get this one spun up? Because the Legion already ran up to me in the strip and were like, hey, we saw what you did with Benny. Kaisar wants to talk to you. I'm like, all right, cool. So I did their storyline. But then I was like trying to do the NCR to wrap things up. Like, where do I go? And it was such a moment of like, oh shit, I have to go to this location I haven't touched since the game first came out.
Oh, wow.
You know, and like that, because I did NCR playthrough my first time playing the game. And I'm like, that's amazing that like usually maybe the game bugged a little bit because usually a representative of each of the major factions is to approach you. So maybe that was supposed to happen and I just never got the quest added to my log. But it was that moment of I learned more about a thing I already love. And just, yeah, like going down these companion storylines, dude. I'll say this, Cog. Here's the ultimate compliment I could deliver to New Vegas right now.
All right, let's go.
It is the first time I have ever wavered on the 3 versus New Vegas debate. Like, it really was. Because here's the thing that hit me. One, the companions.
Right.
Fallout 3 doesn't have great companions. I love Fallout 3 because of its world, its atmosphere, and like what it accomplished transitioning from like Fallout 1 and 2 to what we have now.
Yeah, that's iconic.
But when I think about the companions 3, I'm like, yeah, there's like, I like the main story characters, but with New Vegas, I'm like, these companions, Boone's incredible, Arcade Gannon's incredible, Lily's fucking hilarious, Cassidy's awesome. Like they're so Veronica. I love her dilemma with the Brother to Steel. And I just thought to myself, like, wow, okay, 3 doesn't have that. And then the other thing I came to appreciate, dude, is that as you're talking to all these characters in the main story, they're referencing the DLC the whole time. Like Veronica's starting of her, like her whole dialogue tree before you do her quest line is talking about, you know, this new father, this previously established Father Elijah. You know, he was the original elder of the Brotherhood of Steel. He's disappeared for a while, though. I was like, oh my God, they're setting up dead money. Right. Like, you know, there's I forgot what character it was, but she departs after you finish a side quest with her. She's like, yeah, I heard about this like new thing happening in Utah. That's like, you know, they're going to like venture out. It's like going to be this big caravan. I'm like, they're setting up Honest Hearts. Of course, the most popular one is when you go to, was it Prim? No, yeah, it was Prim. And you talk to, I forgot the guy's name, but you talk to the guy who gives you the quest to, I think Nash is the name, something like that. Anyway, you talk to someone there and they mentioned that when they saw your name on the list for the platinum chip, they turned around and went the other way. And like that one always stood out to me because that set up Lonesome Road, which was the final DLC for New Vegas. So as a complete package now, when you play it with all the DLC accounted for, it's all like this one big cohesive reactive experience where I can like go off the board and do Lonesome Road right away, get that context, come back in the main story. I could also just like shoot a nuke into the main map and just wipe out one of the factions completely. So I'm going to be honest, like I've always been a pro Fallout 3 guy and I still am. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my God, 3 sucks actually.
No, 3's good.
But like, it's the first time I have wavered and been like, I think I might like this a little bit more. Yeah, I was like, the Black Rock might have actually finally got me to waver. It got me to the point where I was like, now I need to do like another complete playthrough of 3 to like size them up. Yes, how I really feel because
see how you feel about
3's world and atmosphere is so
I love 3's
unmatched.
world. Yeah, DC.
New Vegas really is phenomenal, even in its worst condition. So getting the platinum trophy for that was a real joy. Then I needed some smooth shooting in my veins, right? Like I needed movement. I needed fidelity to some extent. I needed frames. And I had this one on the list as I talked about going into the holiday break. That is Titanfall 2. Whew. Empty Zero wrote in and said, howdy Dukes. Hope your new year is off to a great start. Maddie, happy to see you took a run at Titanfall 2. Does it hold up as one of the best first-person shooter campaigns of all time, in your opinion? And most importantly, having experienced this seminal work, are you excited for Highguard? Have a sorry Xbox, but 2026 is the year of the Linux desktop for real this time. Thank you for writing in, Empty. I'll keep my eye on Highguard. I like I said, I think it was just a game that like it doesn't look particularly inspiring to me. I think it's a game that just if it was put in any other part of the showcase, I think we wouldn't have blinked at this. I mean, like, all right, we'll see what happens. But putting it as the show closer, I think really fucks that thing up, and it's gone radio silent. So I'm sure the game even might get delayed or something. I don't know because all the sentiment. I haven't seen anyone say anything positive about it. But that aside, Titanfall 2.
Let's talk about it. So
if I played a decent amount of Titanfall 2 multiplayer on Steam, but this campaign, bro, wow. You were not kidding. It was really great. My only complaint is I wish it were longer.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to kind of experience more of it, but dude, like you can see the vision. Like this was supposed to be the next COD. Like it really was. Like that campaign was a straight up Call of Duty campaign at its best. Like COD's got some great campaigns, but it had that plus the multiplayer suite. But man, I just loved how every mission had a little gimmick, you know, each one just introduced something a little new, a little bit different. That time travel mission, that was awesome. I love that one.
Now you see where my Starfield connection, did you catch it?
My hot take, yeah, I did catch it. My hot take is that I like how Starfield moved it forward. I thought I was going to sour on Starfield, but I think this kind of mission design worked really well for an RPG. And I like that Starfield kind of clearly took a look at that.
Yeah, for sure.
Turned it into a choice and consequence mission. Like I thought that was actually really good stuff. So
absolutely.
But I felt they kind of respected one another.
Yes, that's what I'm about to say. I felt like they were inspired by Vince and them, and then I think it's the perfect analysis because I do love what Starfield did as well.
Yeah. So I was gonna say like I was happy it didn't take away from like one of the things I know I really liked about Starfield, and it just made this game great, especially because there were moments you'd like creatively platform, like you drop down a hole and you'd keep like flipping between basically restored and destroyed. I thought that was, again, really awesome. So that was a great mission. I think I kind of liked the World Foundry a little bit more, just a little bit.
Okay.
I thought the idea was interesting. I thought the way the level was constantly active around you and you were platforming, moving around was really good. The constantly new Titan loadouts that were fed to you were incredible. I thought the story was pretty solid. I love that it had the audacity to have boss fights.
What?
Yeah, like what? Some incredible visuals. Again, you just look at this game, 2016, and I think to myself, bro, we don't need to go any further. I look at this and like it's fine. It looks great. So I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I beat it in like 2 nights. You know, like I played an hour the first night. I was really tired after the tutorial mission, so I said, okay, I'll just play this tomorrow, and I ended up finishing it in that next sitting, and I thought it was wonderful. I really, really liked it, and the only shame that I now join everyone else in is that no Titanfall 3. You know, it's like, especially because they clearly tease that there was more on the way. Well, bro, when this dude slaps the sticker and has the Apex on it, I'm like, now I felt your pain retroactively. I was like, oh, bro, I can imagine seeing Apex Legends and being like, what are they doing, man? So I get it. It makes a lot more sense now. But it was a great story, and I really had a lot of fun with it. I'm glad I finally got it under my belt because now I feel like I've seen the entire Vince Zampella rotation. I played all of his work now, so it was nice to kind of finish that one out.
That was dope.
Then, like I said at the top of the show, got into a little indie bag, Cog. Got into a little indie bag here. This game, I remember talking about with a friend and being like, hey, this art style is really interesting. And I forgot to wish list it on Steam. And because this is the one problem with like certain indie games is like, if you don't right then and there, bro, rediscovering this.
Trying to find it?
Oh my God. Because you can't just like, oh, I'm going to use a couple of keywords and like someone will be talking about it. Like this game has no guides, no nothing. It's just out there. That game is Stories from the Soul Gundog.
Interesting.
It is a 80s, 90s anime inspired visual novel. And I haven't really played a visual novel, I guess, since really 100 Line, Last Defense Academy. But that aside, a true like start to finish visual novel, Zero Escape. You know, when I was playing that on my PS Vita after I beat all the Danganronpa games, I hopped over to that. I think that was the last one that I can wrap my brain around that I went to. I might be forgetting other ones, but I struggle with visual novels. I've accepted I'm a Danganronpa fan. I'm sorry. The Somnium Files was actually the last visual novel I played. But that's the thing. Uchikoshi worked on that, and he did Zero Escape. So I'm like fans of Kodaka and Uchi and so on. So like, I'm not a huge visual novel fan because I tried to play ones like Slay the Princess. It just was too visual novel-y for me. It just too much, just like text and clicking and next story and just it's got to have a little gimmick to it.
Okay.
This game really didn't, outside of feeling more like a point and click adventure, but it's like 10 hours long, and I got the platinum trophy for this one because it was really easy. So yeah, I was getting to work this holiday break. That took me 15 hours because you had to go through like an extra little part of the playthrough. But anyway, 80s, 90s anime style for the character design.
I'm liking this art style.
Yeah, really great character design.
I really like this art style.
And it's set aboard a spaceship called the Gundog. And you're out there assisting another ship called the O'Brien. And this is after you were a part of a failed mission because there's this thing going on called the Solar War. And so humanity's like fighting in space. And after the kind of fragile peace that's been established, you're trying to kind of maintain that peace in space. And so these two ships are traveling with one another, supporting each other. The Gundog has become home to sort of the delinquents, right? Like everyone on this ship has made a mistake, whether it's their fault or not, that has landed them in this spot. So you kind of got a group of troublemakers together that have to hold a ship together. You also have aboard this ship your girlfriend Cassandra, or Cassie, what they call her really. And a lot of this story is about, like I kind of like it because it's your relationship with her rather than a lot of VN games where it's like, who are you going to have sex with, bro? Not really. The game gets a little cog romance like, and toward the end, there's some choice. There's one choice you can make in this game where I'm like, oh, bro, someone was on some type of time. But otherwise, very even keeled, I would say. Okay. Very focused. Because what this game was originally going to be was something much bigger, like a big adventure game. But then they realized it was getting too big. So they actually released this game separately and began working on whatever their next project was. So I was expecting a bit of a setup for the next game, like a bit of sequel bait. It definitely has that. But it's a really solid space-focused visual novel that has like a good mystery at the heart of it. I'm trying to think of how to word that mystery so it intrigues people listening without spoiling it. But I do think it's best just seen for yourself because you're really trying to uncover like a creepy space mystery that involves like death. And I find that weirdly compelling, especially aboard a kind of claustrophobic environment. It's not like you're navigating in first person. It's all kind of menu driven. Again, very point and click adventure like. But again, 10-hour dip in the pool here, if you want to call it that, and very quick journey. But I liked it. Like I said, I wanted to get more indie games under my belt this year, and this is one that when I rediscovered it, it was recommended to me on Steam during the holiday sale. And I was like, oh my God. And so then I went and thought, well, let me look at the trophy list because I'm on this little trophy grind. Trophy list looked really simple. I was like, all right, let's go for it.
Let's do it.
And overall, just enjoyed the story, enjoyed the characters. And I'm very excited to see what they do next because there were some things like if I really wanted to nitpick this $15 visual novel, like the grammar wasn't great a lot of the times. Okay. There's certain frames that they drew where like you could just tell it was like thrown together really quickly. Like there's a point where you see a submachine gun and it's missing like all the detail and like it comes up a lot of times in the story and you're like, what happened with whoever was drawing that? I can like rough the game up for that, but I think they did a really good job overall, given it's like I think a team of 4 is what I like.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, very small. They're called Space Colony Studios. But I enjoyed my time with it. I thought it was a good little journey here. I'm very interested to see what happens next. I think the way the game respects the choices you make and how they kind of display them at the end of the game was really cool, while also like making sure they were able to tease what was next. And so, yeah, if you see this game on sale, I think it's regularly priced at $20, but if you see it on sale for like what I got it for like $15.
Yeah, 15 right now.
I think you'd be pretty happy with what's there. Again, Stories from the Soul, Gundog.
So on Switch and it's on console as well. I thought it was all.
Yeah, I played it on my PS5. I definitely used my Portal a lot for it. I would recommend if you're gonna pick this one up, get it for handheld.
This feels like
for sure.
Watching that hurt.
That was that elbow bang that I
know about that one.
Cushions here on my chair to prevent that sort of stuff, but I hit the desk first. But yeah, Stories from the Soul, good time. And now I'm looking ahead at what I'm gonna play next and. Business decisions are being made. Like I want to play Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, finish that out. I also like if I'm looking at the game calendar, what's coming up, probably my most anticipated game that's like a major one is the next Resident Evil.
Yes.
And I kind of want to just grind some Resident Evil ahead of that.
Yeah.
So
you and Attica the same part. He's been playing 4. He replayed 4. He wants to get to Village and then Requiem. He's
like I want to play all the Leon games, but I also want to play Outbreak because the Ashcroft, I forget what her name is. But anyway, the woman you get to play as in Requiem, someone connected to hers in the Outbreak game, so I want to see what's going on over there. Okay. So I have the first Outbreak game on PS2, so I kind of want to check that out, but I don't know if I'll hit all of them, but it's definitely something I want to at least go for and see. Okay. The only one I'm not replaying because I already did it recently and it just wasn't as good as it used to be in my brain was Resident Evil 6. I want to love that game. I really do, but it's just fun, but just the story is so stupid. All right, Cog. That's what we're playing this week. Let's get into the news. We got a couple interesting ones here. First and foremost, what can we expect from Xbox in 2026? Jez Corden of Windows Central has the write-up, some predictions, but I made sure to peel through and pluck out the ones that were more like, here's what you could actually expect. So let's go down the list here. First and foremost, developer direct. Of course, we know this is, with our luck, this will probably be announced by the time this show comes out.
Curse of the Duke's got to set up 2026, right?
Yeah, got to set it up. He says of Fable, Gears, Halo, and Forza, Xbox will, quote, show off at least some of these, end quote, which was kind of in line with our predictions. If people want to know what we're expecting for 2026, that was our last episode. So check out DD261. He also said, quote, one of Microsoft's more intrepid teams may be ready to show off what it's been baking, end quote. And the baking was in italics, so I imagine that's a hint of sorts. I don't know. I don't know what it's hinted toward. I was going to ask you about that because I was like, I don't know what that exactly is. And then Fallout. He had updates on Fallout. For those who have not seen, there was a timer on Amazon's website connected to season 2's finale. So when it was over, something was going to pop up there. And a lot of people thought this was, God bless people who are, I'm an optimistic person, but this is next level optimism. A lot of people are like, oh, they're going to shadow drop the Fallout 3 remaster or remake. I was like, they are not. Amazon is not going to do that, guys. Like, they don't get any, I guarantee they don't get any money from the games. It's probably connected to the finale because if you go to the website, you'll see it's a map and it's like you can see the Caswin and it's actually really cool. Like, I went through it for like 10 minutes. You can like visit all of the sets kind of like in a first person view. Think of like, you know how like Google Maps or Google Earth, will let you kind of like zoom in and you'll be able to go from like street to street.
Yes.
And kind of see things from like that ground level perspective.
Yes.
Basically that for the Fallout sets. And so you can look at that and then you can click on like a monitor, like a terminal, and it'll bring up images that you can tab through of like concept work they did, storyboarding work they did. I thought it was really cool. I don't think this is where they're going to be like, and also Fallout 3 Remaster is here. They're definitely going to do it, but I don't think it's a tease for that. And Jez Corden says as much. He says it's not related to the Fallout 3 remake or a shadow drop of any kind, but that this game in Fallout 3 Remastered is on the way, as is New Vegas. They don't know who's making that game. And a recently greenlit Fallout 5. How about that? A lot of Fallout on the way. We'll talk about it. We have updates on Machine Games that I was pleased to see. Not mentioned was a new Indiana Jones game. What was mentioned was a Rainbow Six Siege-like multiplayer title. We have not seen multiplayer in a game for Machine Games since Wolfenstein Youngblood, and that didn't go over too well. But also, once more, it's in the rumor mill. Wolfenstein 3 is in the cards to sync up with the Wolfenstein TV show. God willing, dude. God willing. I really hope that's true. 2027 titles that we could, in quotes, see at the summer showcase. Blade, Clockwork Revolution, which we did have a write-in about from Iron Line 44. He says, I'm currently building a new office for HyperX/Omen, who's the PC gaming company in Tustin, California. He says, I'm in the same building park or business park, and the building right on the other side of the parking lot is In Exile. Every time I look over there, I think of Maddie. I think to myself, they better be working hard in there on Clockwork Revolution. I'm excited for that game as well. And I just wanted to write in and share that and express my love for the Dukes. And they are no doubt working hard there.
Yeah, we're going to shout out.
Arnold's running a great ship over there. I have literally zero doubt about that game.
Nice.
Other 2027 titles mentioned that could potentially show up at the showcase in the summer. State of Decay 3. Ninja Theory, where he says their next game will be more, quote, combat involved and interactive, end quote, in Hellblade 1 and 2, while retaining its cinematic focus. He mentions Age of Empires is powered by Unreal Engine, and they may show a new entry there. OD is on this list. So that's 2027 kind of accounted for. Hardware. He talked about how the plan still remains that Windows 11 will run on this next-gen Xbox with the full screen experience. Microsoft is apparently working on major updates for the Xbox PC app to accommodate this, and that you can expect new hardware in 2026. Jez suspects that one may be the Elite Controller Series 3. The other is a OEM Xbox PC, but he's unsure if this will happen. Time will tell. As for the kind of financial / staff angle of Xbox, he says that Xbox is seeing success on Xbox PC and may begin reporting its stats at Microsoft's quarterlies, which is definitely a sign of a step forward there. And there were layoff rumors to start off the year for Microsoft. It seems like at least the Microsoft side of things has not been denied, but when it comes to the Xbox side of things, it's being shut down not only by Jez, but also even the lead comms person at Microsoft. Now, I've seen some people go like, "You okay, buddy? We'll see you." And I think it's I hate to be snarky when I say it, but I think it's a little fair given like
Consider the situation.
We saw just last year how quickly the switch flipped. Like Romero was presenting his game, all was good. Next day canceled. Obviously, we saw what happened with like Matt and Phil visiting Zenimax Online. We approved an order, canceled. So these things clearly happen fast. I don't think it gets down the chain even to lead communication people. I think they're decisions made in a really snappy manner. So I hope nothing happens to the people at Xbox, but time will tell. Cog, this is a look at what to expect from 2026. What catches your eye?
A lot, man. A lot to digest. Shout out to Jez. Just had him on ILP in our debut episode for 2026. So it was good to catch up. We haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. We didn't have him on the summer show because he couldn't make it. So
he couldn't make it. Yeah, we got to link up with Jez in a bit. As far as developer direct, so as far as what he said, I want to break it down. So they call it affectionately the Four Horsemen. I like that. So I call them, burger, fries, and shakes, but now it's four. So I like that they're considering Fable a horseman.
Yeah.
I like that. Gives me a little confidence as far as the release of this game, because a lot of people are scared. A lot of people were worried about, is this game going to be delayed? Is it going to come out? So that's a big question. Again, like we talked about in our episode that we recorded, I just want to see who of the horsemen will be there, right? That's going to be the key, and who's going to be saved for the showcase. As far as the intrepid team, as far as ready to be baking,
I guess is as good as mine. I really don't know.
There's a part of me that feels like it's going to be someone we're not thinking about, like from the Blizzard ABK side or something. Like, I don't know. Because it's like, I'm thinking of all the majors, they seem to be occupied with kind of things we know. I would be shocked if there's an additional project from the traditional Xbox Game Studio family. Man, you know what? Let me get crazy. What the hell is Rare doing?
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to hear from Rare.
Yeah.
Because we do know what's not cooking is what's our seance game? What's our joint?
Everwild.
Yeah, that's where's that at? So, all right, Fallout.
I think my head went to Spyro. That was like, but I don't think that's.
Because wouldn't that be more Xbox game publishing? Because am I getting confused? Which is the one that left?
Yeah, Toys for Bob left, and then they made a partnership with Xbox. And yeah, so I don't know. Like,
I don't know. This could be. They're so big, so it's like
I like that. It could be a little sneak attack. I think that's cool.
Yeah. I do like that part. So we'll see. I'm excited about that. Fallout, kind of like New Vegas remakes. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that in conjunction with the story. Now I had a big fallout. I had a big fallout with Addict and King. They're mad at me because they're in full baddie mode. They are like, bro, I don't want to hear it. Too long for these damn Fallout games. They are in your pocket. Like the pushback I got. They were like, Cog. They said so here's the extreme. I want to know your take on this because there's a big debate on ILP. They took it as far as saying, not only are the games taking long, which I agree. He said, Cog, we're going to be like 50, 60 years old by the time the next one comes up. Fair. But what they are saying, man, I want to know how you feel about this. if they can't get this out in time, they said Todd must be not removed, but be induced to let others make it. Your thoughts, please, on this. I have to get your opinion. They're like, he needs to be pushed to give it to someone else if he can't get it out on time. They vehemently Addict and King will all be on this.
If he is a serious blocker, like if he is a legit, like, okay, when you say this, just to be clear, we're not talking about him handing a remaster over to someone. You're talking like a New Vegas
mainline, not a spinoff, mainline Fallout.
I don't blame Bethesda for wanting to do 5 themselves. Like, I think that's fair. I don't think they need to be so protective that they can't do spinoffs.
Okay, so so your baddies with me. Yes. Yeah. Okay, cool. Whew.
Like, I get where King and Addict are coming from, because I think right now the problem is, like, if I'm speaking logically. Yeah. Now, like, am I, based on Bethesda's recent track record, hyped for them making a Fallout 5? No. Like, I'm not. Like, I don't have this insane confidence that they're going to nail it like I used to have with them, which sucks to say. So I would maybe prefer someone else tackling Fallout 5, but given Bethesda clearly has a plan for what they've wanted Fallout 5 to be for a while now, I think anyone making spin-offs makes them have to adjust their writing. Okay. And that fucks up their plans for whatever they're doing, because now they have to account for another story being told. And
got it.
I think at this point now, it's not like a good time to greenlight a good time to greenlight all of these Fallout things was years ago, because they knew they were walking away. They had 76. They knew there was not going to be anything new. And Todd even said as much. He said there was no doubt we were going to pick Obsidian to do the next Fallout thing, because we knew we were leaving. He said we knew it would be a while between Skyrim and Fallout 4. So we wanted them to do something else.
Right.
And that's why so I think the biggest mistake was just not doing that again. After Fallout 4, you knew you were doing 76. After 76, you knew, because you announced it. You said 76, Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6. You knew, even in our most optimistic of timelines back in the 2010s, that your ass was gone for probably 8 years.
Right.
There is no reason why he could not have repeated what they did last time. And that's if he is truly the blocker, right? Which I think is very fair to say. So I don't think pulling them off of Fallout 5 is the solution. I think the biggest mistake was just not, these things should have been out. That is like totally true. Like that's why, like, even I know if I'm feeling this way, I can only imagine what the more casual Fallout fans feeling looking at this shit. Like, I look at this, I'm like, yeah, I love seeing all this on paper, but this isn't going to materialize because so much of this got greenlit recently until the 2030s, when I'm already like fucking fattened up on Fallout. You should have given this to us when we were ready for a ton more. And I'll be there to play these things. I'm not kidding myself, but I don't know if Todd needs to be induced, because I think his biggest mistake was just not repeating what clearly worked very well for the franchise and for its fans.
Yeah, no, they were threatening Todd. They were like, he needs, bro. I had to defend the guard, because they know my new nickname. They clowning me. They calling me Cog Howard. Bro, they're like, you're defending. You know how they get on me. So the chat with everybody turned on me. I said, look, all I'm saying is, I'm with y'all. Yes, it's too long. I get that. All I'm saying is, when do we do this with other luminaries? Yo, Kojima, you're taking too long. We're pulling you off the thing that you made your baby and demanding someone else make it. And then the other thing is, because they were questioning the status. So my thing was like this. We have to admit, the things that we do know that he is innately involved with, like this damn TV series. We know Todd is there on set, doing whatever. Come on, the quality is there. And then we do know with Indy, right? And he was there, and we saw the result. Now, my only thing is, you could ask this. I've heard rumblings. I don't know how true this is. You probably more plugged in than me in this respect. That because they threw Starfield back on me, like, oh, but yeah, Starfield, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, fair. But from my understanding, I thought that was more Emil, and he's over. Not that Todd didn't have anything to do with it. But what's your take on? Do you feel like, just from what you heard, this, we're speculating. You don't have to I'm not putting a gun in your head. What you think, if based on the development of Star, do you feel he was 100% in that project. And if he did, he'll take his L. I'll take my L. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speculating. What's your feeling?
No, it just doesn't. I know people think I'm covering for him because it's like, well, he wasn't involved in 76. He wasn't involved in Starfield. What the fuck was this guy doing? He was involved to an extent, of course. But like, it just didn't feel like a Todd Howard game. I don't know how else to describe it other than like, to me, here's when nowadays I would have seen this as a warning shot, and I didn't realize it back then. A month before Starfield came out, Todd did an interview, I think with GQ. Mm-hmm. And they were asking him about Starfield. And I forgot what the question exactly was, but Todd's response, it was about exploration. Mm-hmm. And his words in this very like one siloed off interview, it was not anywhere else, was like, yeah, like, I'm not sure how people will react to this game because it explores differently. It plays differently.
I think I remember.
I feel like when Todd usually steps outside with, I think like Fallout 4 was like a game that was a Todd game, truly, in all the best and worst ways. Mm-hmm. I look at something like Starfield and I'm like, I think it has the Todd Howard philosophy. Like, I think he had the vision for the game.
Right.
1,000 planets. So even if he wasn't involved day to day, a lot of this still falls to him, unfortunately. Because like that's the murmurs that I read online and I even hear myself is like, he's bigger is better. That's him. Like, remember when I asked him in my interview, I was like, would you guys ever do like smaller games, spin-off games? He's like, oh, we can do an update for 76. And I'm like, but like, you guys wouldn't do like a 20-hour, 50-hour Fallout game? Like, that's just, those days are done. And it seems that way. So I think it's his philosophy that just bleeds into the studio. So even if it's an ML game,
right,
the blame does fall with Todd to an extent because he has instilled that this is how the game should be made.
Right.
No, that's why you got guys like ML saying like, hey, 600 hours are a thing. So it's again, a lot of the internet conversation is like, it's Todd, it's Emil, it's like, it's all of them. Like, I think there's a lack of talent right now at Bethesda. Right. But I do look at it as like a lot of costly decisions. And so,
and just to move on from it. My final thing was just like, also from a development cycle, they wanted to make a new IP to break up the Elder Scrolls Fallout pattern. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how I look at it. But anyway, we rambled on with that.
Even that was you could argue it just wasn't a good choice. Like, I don't know. It was
respect, we could say that.
Yeah, like at least from a fan point of view, I can't say how it changed things internally for them, but like from my point of view, I'm like, I don't think Starfield was worth it. Like, I didn't love, as someone who loves their games, I didn't love it enough to kind of warrant like, oh, I would totally take this over Elder Scrolls or Fallout. And I think the biggest thing you can point at for that is like the modding scene for Starfield is so barren. Like, you have a lot of people talking about this Star Wars Genesis mod that's
Kid's going crazy about it. He actually loves it.
It looks sick, but like that's like the first high profile Starfield mod I've seen. Otherwise, there's not been much. And so I think a lot of that game embodies like all that's wrong with Bethesda games where it's just not been worthwhile. So I look at this news about Fallout and I'm like, yeah, there's like, I will be very excited when these things come out, especially the Fallout 3 remake, the New Vegas remake. But I think that to Attic and King's points and what you guys were talking about, I think the biggest mistake was just not repeating what they did with New Vegas, even if it wasn't Obsidian with someone else. Like, I just think Fallout should have always had an iron in the fire. It was a huge mistake.
I get it. And like I said, all I said was that, and then there's a reference to, I personally believe when hindsight's 2020, we look back, I think they got not caught with their pants down in the sense that none of us could predict, because even us, when we looked at the TV series, it was like, okay, we hope it's okay.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then it becomes this cultural phenomenon and we go, oh my God, like, where's the game? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, this is the company that also housed Halo Paramount series, as well. So, there's that too. So that's just me. But anyway, moving on. Machine Games. All right.
Hit me with this. This is interesting.
Interesting.
I don't see any indie cog. How are we feeling?
I want indie. I want indie.
The heart wants what the heart wants, right?
Yeah, the heart. I mean, if you're going to give me Wolfenstein 3, I didn't know about this TV series. Did you know about this TV series?
Yeah. This got announced on Variety a few months ago, I want to say.
Really? We do a transmedia Wolfenstein?
Yeah. I forgot who was behind it, but I remember seeing it. And let me look it up because I think that the names behind it actually looked pretty good too. Like, Wolfenstein, I think it's Amazon as well.
Yeah, Amazon show, I think. I've never seen something
July. Wolfenstein TV series in development at Amazon from Fallout producer Kilter Films.
Oh,
and Patrick
wow.
Swayze.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Todd done got them the Amazon bag over there.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Let's see what happens there. I mean, I won't waste time. You know, I'm going to, in fairness to Machine Games, I do love the way their shooters play and feel. Yes, they've never had a really successful multiplayer component to their games. I would assume there may be a slight nudge to have some form of live service to exist in a Microsoft gaming era. So that's where I'm going with it. But I'm going to hope for the best based on the pedigree of the first party shooters with that. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm going to wait and see before I go crazy on him. Now, Blade, if he's at the summer, woo, that could see at this. Man, it would be nice to see Dinga. It'd be nice to see. He's been talking recently.
Yeah, he closed out the year saying they made some progress, and so I'd love to see this game, man. I want nothing more than for a great Arcane game right now. You know, like please. Just show me that Deathloop was a one-off. You know? Show me, please, that it was a one-off.
I love it. So we got that. All right, State of Decay. That's the heart for me, man. I am the most worried for that studio. Out of, second to the next one we're going to talk about, but State of Decay, man. That's like those two are my worry warts, you know, kind of thing. At least Compulsion gave me a little hope that South to Midnight is going to the other platforms. I was like, yes. I didn't even think that was going to happen.
No, I agree.
I was like, okay, please switch people. Pick it up, check it out. You know what I'm saying? The music's great. But anyway, so State of Decay 3, hopeful for that. Ninja Theory looks like they were listening to Gene and Maddie. Bro, that whole combat
floating over the crowd moment, bro. That's what I'm doing right now, because I saw this and I went, I'm excited for the next game now, because they got away from what they did so well, and I am so excited to see their pretentious type of storytelling mixed with actual great combat, because they've done amazing combat systems before. I saw this and I was like, I'm on board.
Bro, when I read this, I just sit there and twist my face. I can see Gene and Maddie's face right now, because I had to endure the Hellblade attacks, which were warranted. That's how y'all felt, and I never pushed back crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it was funny because this was your major focus of your arguments, and you guys were like, "Bro, I'm not playing anything." You know what I'm saying? It's a regression from one. So to see them take that.
Gene went harder than me, because I remember Gene played Hellblade 1, and like I watched Hellblade 1 and went, oh yeah, there was I forgot there was more combat and there was more mechanics. Like, yeah, man. So I saw this and I was like, okay.
They took the feedback, and I'm happy they are making another project. Like, I like that. Did you think?
I'm worried less about them than you, because I've always said that they had all of that like technology they spent building, like they're masters of Unreal Engine. True. They've achieved this level of fidelity. Like, I could see a world. I mean, I could be wrong in the age of Satya, but I could see a world where at least Xbox leadership is like, they have technical knowledge that we don't have anywhere else. Bro. This is going to help our other games that are all on Unreal Engine. So.
To me, they're a resource of technical knowledge and their mastery of Unreal Engine. That was, at that time, one of the greatest console games, despite how we feel about mechanics. From a pure visual perspective, that was a mastery of the engine and a technical marvel. And they was able to pull 60 frames. Even later, I was like, okay, salute to them. All right, Age of Empires, sorry, that's not my bag. God bless y'all. Y'all gonna be happy. OD. You know, is it time? Is it time for Kojima to be outside? Okay.
Talking about it more, showing it more.
Yeah. And
it's really emphasizing that it's going to be like hated or loved. Like, you're just.
Yeah, this is going to be. The other. Yeah, this is going to be a polarizing. Yeah.
I just can't wait for when the game comes out and people will pretend to be surprised by it. That's what I cannot wait for. People are like, oh my God, like, why is it like this? I'm like, dude, this guy's been saying for years now, it's his most divisive game. Like, he already knows what he has.
Yeah, for sure. And then run down, as far as I agree, the next gen, Jess said this on ILP, that it's going to mimic the Windows 11 full screen experience. I agree that the major differences being that we will, unlike the ROG Ally, we will have the console experience. And that's what all gamers care about. You know, the actual playing Xbox stuff. That's cool. Updates to the apps I'm about. I am a big fan for Controller Series 3. I've purposely held off on every tempting offer to get a Series 2 and a game that I want. I am an Elite controller guy, but the build quality is trash. Let's just call it for what it is. The rubbers always break. There's always a problem. I refuse to buy another one, even though it's my favorite controller minus build quality until this. So if the 3 comes out, that's day one, and I'm hoping they addressed all the issues. And yeah, that's it. I think I found interesting that out of his report was just that the Xbox PC may start reporting its stats in quarterlies. If that is the case, corporations ain't doing that unless they're feeling good.
Yeah.
So they are seeing, they're seeing some growth and some vibes. So whereas hardware is dead and, going off the plank somewhere.
It also may it may offset the conversation. Like, I think they might just look at it optically like, hey, this is, even if it's small growth, it's growth, and it's going to look like, consoles are down, but look, Windows 11 isn't killing anything. Exactly. Look how many gamers are using this thing, because we see like the cloud numbers, right? We see how that changes our conversation. We're like, but look at the cloud numbers, like look at the engagement. So I think that's the play here as well. 100%. I think it's less about like, we're making money, and it's more like, hey, we've taken a lot of optical black eyes. Can we make this look like we're doing the right thing?
You need the PR spin, baby. You need it right now because 100%. You have come off one of your best gaming release calendar years, but one of your worst PR brand damaging disasters of a year in 2025. So I agree with you 100%.
With that, Cog, let's talk about what's next for Xbox here, because this report, while it's small ball for a lot of people, there's so many branches from it that I want to talk about here. So as we've long discussed here on this show, Xbox is going to do a next-gen console, PC. PlayStation is going to do one. We're expecting those in 2027. That was kind of the year that was picked. That was the window that was picked based off rumors, how hardware manufacturers are moving forward. But things are getting a little complicated out there because of companies like OpenAI gobbling up all the RAM. So now RAM prices are through the fucking roof. I feel very lucky that I just upgraded my PC. I got in right then. Same. Right. Locke put me on. He was like, dude, he's like, I think these, Locke was looking out for me. He was like, you should upgrade because he's like, these are going to stay. And that's what I started to read more and more. Like, it didn't feel like hysteria. It was just like, this is going to stick, guys. Like, they're not slowing down. So that GPU prices are up. And because of that, these companies need these parts to put them in these machines. So now all of these consoles are going to be outpricing themselves and not having an impact in the market. Less of a problem for Xbox, maybe, but a big problem for PlayStation, who needs that adoption because we see how their business functions. Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming had a report that the console manufacturers are debating whether or not to delay the next gen consoles from the current window of like 2027, 2028. And the quote is, from what we understand, the situation has led console manufacturers to debate whether the next generation of consoles should be delayed from their intended 2027, 2028 release window, with the hope that RAM manufacturers will be able to build out their infrastructure to produce more RAM, thereby allowing prices to drop, end quote. When I read this, Cog, I had two thoughts. First and foremost was, I think a delay really can hurt the chances of us ever seeing more Xbox hardware because of how snappy decisions are made. Like 2027 feels like the right window for Xbox because you can just eke one last good time out. But if it's now 2029, 30, I see that Satya Amy Hood speak clicking in like, do we really need this, guys? Like, that's what I think of them in the boardroom. Do we even need this? Like, look at the earnings. Look how many people are buying this. How much you're spending on this when we could be spending over here. That's what goes into my brain. I don't even mean that as like doomer. I'm just like, we see the trend. We see the trajectory. So I think of that right away is already we know the Xbox console, I wouldn't say is worthless, but optically speaking, it's not proving to be the hot product. And putting something out, it's just kind of like we talked about, it's an off-ramp. And if we have to delay that off-ramp, even less interest is going to be in it by that time. So what does this really gain us? Unless like the parts are there, we're manufacturing this thing, it's happening. Right. So that was the first thing that really came to mind here. The other thing that came to mind to balance out was good. I don't think it's time I think we got a long generation ahead of us, and this is a blessing in disguise. Amidst all of the AI horse shit that's like destroying us, this is at least like we don't really need, like, my console's doing fine, bro. These games look incredible. I don't need another piece of hardware to push it a little bit more so my hair moves in the wind, you know? So I'm curious, Cog, with this news, what you're feeling. We have a write-in from Mr. Scott, if you're nasty, and I'll kick it off to you. He says, Duke Boys of Wonder, Happy New Year's, gents. Thank you for the holiday content. It's our pleasure. Thanks for listening. Let's get right to it. Are these RAM prices going to delay the next hardware launch? 2026 can't be worse than 2025 for Xbox, right, guys? Right in, Mr. Scott, as always. Cog, kick it to you.
Yeah, man. I think we aligned on almost everything. This is one of them ones. So the delays, the RAM. Shout out to Tom Henderson, Insider Gaming Brethren. Obviously, get the news. I'm like, wow. You know, this AI thing is not going away. It is so disruptive. Bro, they are reselling 3060 graphic cards right now. Like the old joints to try to get you. Like, bro, like, think about this. This was the first generation that I can remember as a gamer where literally being an early adopter paid the hell off. We're literally not waiting and say, yo, I got to get this now. Bro, my PS5 Pro, my for anything in the Xbox family. If you got it at the beginning, like, you are a fortunate gamer. It is ridiculous. Almost double. Like, these prices are crazy. So you got that. Now we get the news that the bubble's not stopping, and the fact that now this is causing them to, all of them, to think, should we delay? And here's the thing. You kind of alluded to what I was going to say earlier. I know people are going to be like, yo, God, you're always defending Xbox. I'm just being real. Like, here's the thing. We do know that their hardware is most likely, they're tanking it purposely. They're going, as the off-ramp is the verbiage we're utilizing. But the reality is if it's up to them, they want to be as far away from it as possible. And they've used the terminology as premium pricing, high-end device. All that screams a lot of money, right? So if they're going to do it, they're not going to take a loss. Okay, in this timeline where AI is what AI is and RAM is what it is, it actually benefits them to hold the course with the strategy because they're not in the selling console business like that. They do not care. They just got lapped by some random, what's that device again? The Mac, whatever the thing is, right?
NEX or whatever the fuck it is, yeah.
We have to admit, if you are Sony and Nintendo, your foundation is the selling of hardware, period. So that right now, you talk about another price increase, right? To a market that is really, dying is too strong a word. We're seeing signs of decay. Even on just a small level, we're seeing signs of it. We're in a climate, an academic climate, where having a console is literally a luxury item. There's no telling a casual to say, yo, you want a $600 this, you want a $500 that, like, it's getting difficult to justify this, especially with these generations that don't want to pay for anything. So you got that. So that affects the console longevity. I'm talking about like 10 years down the road. Like, how many do we get other ones if there's no end in sight for this bubble? Because the sad reality is these corporations are pushing AI so hard and no one wants to get beat. Bro, it's getting scary. It really is. So yeah, to see the idea of a delay. Now circle back to your point. For Microsoft, I look at it like, one, they don't care because they want to off-ramp. But two, what you said, which is selfishly as a gamer, I'm not really ready. These consoles, they hit their strap. What have these consoles really done the first 2 to 3 years of the cycle? And then I'm so frustrated by the trading wheels tag along of past generation that we just will not snap away from, because the Sinister Six live service games reside on these platforms and these guys are not willing to upgrade.
Yeah.
And they're willing to stay there. We're getting, what I knew this generation was, not say cooked, but in trouble. when we're this far in the generation, I would see companies talk about, we're making a PS4 and Xbox One version of this. Como?
I always thought of I always thought of Jedi Survivor. Like that shit came out like way late. I was like, what? Why? But
bro, I remember when the Rocket Blade was like, yeah, we're making an Xbox One. I'm like, why?
yeah.
There gotta be data. There's gotta be companies don't do these. Gotta be something. So that's what I knew. I'm like, bro, that's why I was so happy when Vince was like, yo, Battlefield 6. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's the best selling game of the year. Like, I mean, there's your other data, right?
Right?
But it out.
You're absolutely right. And corporations were so scared to leave that money on the floor.
Yep.
And say, oh, are we really going to move away from the PS4 and the Xbox One? Are we really? That's the thing. So there's a part of me that's like, look, I'm cool right now with what I got. You know, hopefully that there's a break and we get to stay, you know, with these a little bit longer, maximize these titles and these games that we still, with a plethora of games still coming. Mm-hmm. So there's the selfishness in me is that, but the fear in me of, I am starting to see that my beloved console industry, there's a mortality. I'm starting to see it. And I am concerned. I talked to someone years ago and they were telling me, they're like, yo, market's going to crash. But I'm like, what you talking about? This market's fine. This was like 3-4 years ago. This is a really close friend of mine that's in the industry. And he's like, oh, I see the signs. And, you know, he would go in on Xbox. He was like, I'm mad at him because everything he said is literally happening. And he's like, bro, Xbox needs to stop fronting and get the hell out of hardware. I was like, nah, but this was right around the ABK acquisition. This was like he was telling me that this is my man's
we weren't hearing that talk then.
Yeah, he was like, I was fighting him back. I was like, nah, what you talking about? ABK about to see. He was like, God, it ain't gonna do nothing. I was like, really? He's like, God, they gonna have Call of Duty. That's nice. It ain't gonna say that hardware. They need to cut the Band-Aid off. And I was like, word, okay. You know, he stood on business and everything he said is come true. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. But I'm in agreement, you know, as far as I don't mind this generation lasts a little longer. I feel it feels a little too soon to say, yo, new hardware, PS6, you know. And then final point. I do worry about Nintendo in the sense that you mean to tell me 2027, 2028, they weren't thinking about a Switch Lite or a Switch OLED?
True.
You don't think that they was thinking about some form of revision? You know, I think about PlayStation. We talk about their jailbroken stuff, bro. They have to make a revision. And then here's the problem. PlayStation was so ahead of the game. Remember, they were able to absorb the tariff stuff because they had enough stock. They planned ahead. Remember? They planned enough. They had all the PS5s. They're like, okay, it'll be longer before we have to do the double and triple, you know, price jumps that Xbox did. Because Xbox don't care. They're like, we ain't paying for nothing. We AI and this and we don't care.
Yeah.
But now, to me, the jailbreaking thing now puts a timeline that they have to accelerate because now those PS5s that were in stock are essentially compromised, right? And now you have to make they said this jailbreaking is unpatchable. So they have to, and what I'm worried, obviously it's not going to be as detrimental, I feel, as like how the Vita and all that is, but they can't stay pat. And now you got to make a console in this climate with this rain, with these RAM and these price constraints. That puts PlayStation in a picture. I got to listen to the Sacred Boys. I'm very curious. I have a chance to talk to Colin about that. We've been talking about football and his Jets and my Niners. But, we're talking a lot lately with that. But I got to talk to him about that because I'm very curious to see how he interprets that. To me, that in my opinion, it's a slight pickle is how I look at it from a. You know what I'm saying? Like. You know, this is where we at. So that's where I'm at with it. Sorry for the long rant, but I just wanted to talk about that one.
You're good. That's why we have you here. We need these thoughts. This next one, Cog, it's a great read. It's a great read, man. Let's see what's going on the scratch pad of Satya Nadella here. He put up a post December 29th to end the year, and he said, looking ahead to 2026, I'll read the whole thing for you guys. As I reflect on the past year and look toward the one ahead, there's no question 2026 will be a pivotal year for AI. So we're already off to a great start. This has already set the tone. He says, yes, another one. But this moment feels different in a few notable ways. We have moved past the initial phase of discovery and are entering the phase of widespread diffusion. We are beginning to distinguish between spectacle and substance. We now have a clearer sense of where the tech is headed. but also the harder and more important question of how to shape its impact on the world. We are still in the opening miles of a marathon. Much remains unpredictable. Amidst this model overhang, where capability is outpacing our current ability to use it to have real-world impact, this is what some of us need to get right. 1, a new concept that evolves bicycles for the mind, such as the way we always think of AI as a scaffolding for human potential versus a substitute. What matters is not the power of any given model, but how people choose to apply to achieve our goals. We need to get beyond the arguments of slop versus sophistication. That's how, okay, so Merriam-Webster said slop was the word of the year, right? And it's used so much that we're seeing it now on the fucking scratch pad of the CEO of Microsoft. So he says, we need to get beyond the arguments of slop versus sophistication and develop a new equilibrium in the terms of our theory of the mind that accounts for humans being equipped with these new cognitive amplifier tools as we relate to each other. This is the product design question we need to debate and answer. 2, we will evolve from models to systems when it comes to deploying AI for real-world impact. We have learned a lot in the terms of how to keep both riding the exponentials of model capabilities while also accounting for their jagged edges. We are now entering a phase where we build rich scaffolds that orchestrate multiple models and agents, account for memory and entitlements, enable rich and safe tools use. This is the engineering sophistication we must continue to build to get value out of AI in the real world. So a lot of this is an admittance that like it's fucking useless right now, by the way. 3, and lastly, we need to make deliberate choices on how we diffuse this technology in the world as a solution to the challenges of people and planet. For AI to have societal permission, it must have real-world eval impact. The choices we make about where we apply our scarce energy, compute, and talent resources will matter. This is the socio-technical issue we need to build a consensus around. Ultimately, the most meaningful measure of progress is the outcomes for each of us. It will be a messy process of discovery like all technology and product development always is. Computing throughout its history has been about empowering people and organizations to achieve more, and AI must follow the same path. If we do that, it can become one of the most profound waves of computing yet. This is what I hope we will collectively push for in 26 and beyond. And this is why Xbox is where they're at, by the way. In case anyone's wondering.
I mean, there's a lot of truth to what you say.
Yeah. So, Cog, you know I got a rant stored away for this, but I want to hear from you. What with the slop versus sophistication and the cognitive amplifier tools? What do you think of Satya's scratch pad?
The infamous scratch pad, the slop. Oh boy. Oh, where do I begin? Look, a lot of this is marketing, technical word salad in a way. Yeah. They're a company. Let's be very clear. This is a company who is diving headfirst into AI technology research so that they can be first. They don't want to miss out on this technological bubble. Now, I'm a techie, so the tech side of me is going to say, I get what you're doing. If this is the future of civilization and we evolve as a society by utilizing this tool, right? You don't want to be on the wrong side of history by not being one of the purveyors, one of the stewards of it, right? Mm-hmm. So people know it to be synonymous with you. I get it, right? And Microsoft historically has not done well with being the steward, or they're late, or sometimes they're too early, they're too aggressive. Right now, the consensus seems to be that they are too aggressive. What I am concerned for them is this. Obviously, I'm a techie, but I'm also a person who values jobs, sustainability, as well as a person who definitely loves human creativity and the essence of the spirit of what makes gaming. That's what I care about. Microsoft as a company, I know you, but I like your child that you have in the house. I'm an Xbox guy, and then I'm not really a Microsoft guy necessarily per se. But here's the thing: they have to be very careful, because the extreme aggressive nature that they're taking, which seems to be the theme of them in 2025, we're doing this, we don't care, right? We don't care how you feel. It's coming. Copilot Windows 11, all this, you getting that, right? And you going to shut up and deal with it because it's coming. And they still may be right at the end of the day. Microsoft tends to be clairvoyant with a lot of this stuff. I will give them that. The problem is this, though. Windows is the dominant OS. They are the guys, right? You have become one of the dominant OS because people like the ability to have control, to be able to manipulate these things and do what they want, right? The more you get into this ideology and technology and where it's maybe taken away from the user, is the more you pivot people towards Linux, the more you pivot to, because there is a fear. Like, bro, you're trying to take control and forcibly. And we don't, and let's be honest, the human psyche does not trust corporations to be the beacon of integrity with how you utilize it. How are you going to utilize that data? How you go, you know what I'm saying? So these are the ethical questions. And I think that they've got an uphill battle. Bro, Microslop is trending
everywhere.
Like crazy. So this is where I have my confidence, and this used to be my argument with King when he would, I wouldn't say fearmonger, because he was right. I did joke a lot about it. I had my Miles Dyson jokes, and because I'm a tech, I like to have fun with this stuff. But he was right, Chicago. This is a very fearful situation. Like, bro, it's taking job. He's absolutely right, and we are seeing the layout. We're seeing the effects of it in real time. The only thing I always have confidence in is the human spirit in this regard. When we say ain't it, when we don't utilize it, we hate it, we push back, and you see things like Microslop and all this stuff trending. My hope is that these are when the regulation, the ethics, and all these things start to get put in, because people will push back. And number one to push back is I'm not buying your product, right? Number one to push back is I'm going over here to, you see what I'm saying? So again, that's the equalizer. That's the balance, in my opinion. And that's what I am seeing. I am seeing when you go on socials, dudes are like, get up out of here with that. Nope, we don't want that. This, that, and we're to the point now, you're seeing games after the say, yo, we didn't, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you start.
I don't think it's worth it, bro. It just doesn't seem worth it.
That's the thing. Now, again, I'm a techie at my core. There's going to be use cases that
100%.
Yeah, it's going to advance and help us and take mundane tasks that we hate doing and make us efficient. There's going to be good use cases for sure. I am not going to completely demonize this, but it's the ethics, and it's about forcing people and taking them out of jobs as well as the human element. And that's the part, the fight for the soul is where I'm at right now. Right. So look, it's funny. I thought this was a good one that you picked, and I think there's good to push back. There's good to it.
Yeah, I mean, on that level too. I mean, when I saw it was trending for like days, and like new logos are made, like Microslop and stuff. I was like, wow, dude. I mean, the one thing you could say that's true to his statement is like, he's like, we need to get past the slop versus sophistication. I'm like, then don't make shit like that. Like, I know it's not just snap your fingers, but like, it's not just accept it, please. Like any other technology in human history, like when you came up to me with the light bulb, I wasn't sitting there like, yeah, I'm going to use the campfire guy. Thanks. Like, that's not what I was doing. You know, I was like, okay, this is a way to light my house without risking a fire, and boom, perfect. And I have more light, and there are lights everywhere. This is great. The light bulb is awesome. It was naturally adopted because the improvements were obvious. I think from a data management perspective, obviously the improvements are very visible, for what AI can do. But in the applications we're seeing everywhere, I'm like, what is this doing for me? And that's why there's all that pushback. I think my favorite line here was actually not slop versus sophistication, but was that he said, we need to get beyond the argument of slop versus sophistication and develop a new equilibrium in the terms of our theory of the mind that accounts for humans being equipped with these new cognitive amplifier tools as we relate to each other. You know what that line reminds me of there? New cognitive amplifier tools is EA surprise mechanics. Remember that?
I'm surprised I remember that.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's not AI. It's new cognitive amplifier tools. You're getting smarter by using this thing. When, by the way, dude, take a scroll on social media. That's all I'll say. You're not amplifying anyone's cognition when I'm like, what do you guys think of the new Fallout season? And I got a reply in there, at Grok. How's the new season go? Bro, it's your opinion. Yeah. What the fuck do you mean at Grok? You know?
Bro, you seen it for the simplest of things. And my you know what I worry too is that I see the internet because you're cooking. Is we come from the era where, you know, writing skills and, you know, making your own cognitive decision. Like people, the sad part, the certain generation, they just run to this for the answer, take it as gospel without proper context, without any type of, and you see the incorrect stuff and you go, whoa, like this is scary sometimes. I had to say that because you're on fire with that. You'll see people like at ChatGPT for everything. Yeah. Like they can't function without it. It's very scary. We're here. We're here now.
Sure. And I just think what we're missing in the human component is like even let's get rid of like the bottom level tasks. And like there's still a learning process in all of that with like there is a benefit to those tasks that are monotonous and kind of getting into that grind and ascending up the ladder further. Like the rung of the ladder, you don't have a bunch of missing rungs on the ladder and it starts on the middle and you fucking pull yourself up. You know, you have the bottom rungs that you put your feet on, you climb up one by one.
Developing that muscle.
So, you know, I look at that where even in game development where they're like, well, we could still have our junior level talent, but like AI, they want AI to replace senior level talent. I'm like, I don't think using AI for like that mid-level talent is even a good idea. You need people that can climb that ladder. And I think just the companies that'll thrive are the ones who are going to kind of keep it business as usual. Because I just look at this and see it's like a money laundering scheme to an extent. I'm just like I just look at it and think like
hustle.
Yeah, it's like you know, everyone thinks it's the next big thing. Okay, yeah, invest in us. Yeah, we're gonna do this shit. Like, yeah, it's gonna be awesome, guys. And when this shit falls off the wheel, the wheels fall off the wagon. It's like, okay,
off to the next.
Money. Yeah. We're actually gonna invest our resources in this now and this now. Thank you for your donation. You know, all that stuff. So I don't know. I maybe my view on things is a little too optimistic on how I think the wheels will fall off. I don't think it's going to go away, but I do think there's going to be a point where we're like, this shit's literally useless, dude. Unless it starts to become truly applicable. But
yeah,
I have yet to see the benefits. So I will stop calling it slop, which I don't like that word, but like I'll stop using that as a term when it starts being more sophisticated and interesting. And
it's up to them to showcase practical and game-changing use cases where you go, okay, this is bettering society in a good way. And, you know, we couldn't have got here without this. And at the same time, retrieve and kind of hold on to the ethical portion. That's a huge part. And I think that's going to be, look, I don't want to be one of those guys that, F the automobile, horse and buggy. I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm going to be clear. Like, if you prove to me and you show this, I guess my fear as a person who's just been playing Terminator, just been playing, No Fate, all that, is that when we become so reliant that, again, you lose the ability. Like, I'm from the era, you know what I'm saying? Like, where there was no GPS. Like, you had to write out the map or you print out the map quest and then you're doing your whole, you know what I'm saying? I'm from that era. So it's like, there's people who will never know how to do that. So the fear for me is not like the demonic Skynet takeover, but when there is mass malfunction or downtime and it's like a blackout. You know how like someone doesn't know how to handle a blackout in the house?
Yeah.
And you're like, bro, where's your candles? Where's your flashlight? Like they don't know what to do because everything is dependent on, you see what I'm saying?
Our homes are going to fall apart.
Bro, you know how people go and I'm guilty of it. Like you lose this.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it as a society. So that when you lose that basic muscle of survivability, comprehension, learning, like you started using the ladder analogy, starting small to build up that skill to then, because we're automatically jumping there. But what happens when you don't have it? You have to still have that. And I hope that also is cultivated because that is important. So yeah, that's the challenges they have. And I give you this. One of your strongest argument for the people who cannot stand any of this is that they have yet to show on a big level that it doesn't feel like y'all getting y'all corporate hustle on in terms of this is the next wave and I just want to be first. I just want to control it. That's really what the play is as opposed to the betterment of society. No, you just want to be that all them residuals and that money come to you because you control that whole lane. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great example of this for video games. And it was when everyone was blowing up on Larian for Gen AI involvement in their concept art, which I, as a huge Larian fan, at least at the time, they haven't done their little Q&A panel that they're planning to do. But I look at it and I'm like, I'm going to support the game because I like Larian, but I don't look at that and think like, yeah, that's a path to success. Well, ScaleUp's site, thisweekinvideogames.com, they interviewed 12 different concept artists about who use Gen AI for their job. And they all said it didn't help at all. It made their job more difficult. And I think it's those moments where like, because Sven Vinky, as much as I love him, like when he was asked about Gen AI, he's like, well, you have to be ahead on it. Like if you're not involved, you're going to get left behind. But I've yet to see in these moments where we're talking about AI, like again, I'm an open-minded person. I want to love you, my artificial intelligence brethren. When you take over, I want to be your friend, man. You don't got to kill me. But I'm that weirdo who thanks ChatGPT when I'm done. I'm like,
thank you, ChatGPT.
I don't like it. Don't kill me. What was I saying?
So you want to embrace Fenn? You want to embrace when he says generate?
They're trying to say like, well, you have to do this, but no one's really pointed to an example and say like, well, with this we get to do this, right?
Right.
Or our very complex way of making games, now we can do things automatically. Like I just hear that it's like, well, it's good. Like, oh, you got to do this. Like, just kind of put your head down and get to work on it. And I'm like, that doesn't really check out the way other. Like the smartphone was obvious. I'll always remember when the smartphone first came around, though. It wasn't so obvious. I liked having my flip phone, my MP3 player. I was like, why would you want to have these two together? I remember as a kid saying that. But now it's like, I could have it no other way. So there are technological evolutions that I think are obvious. And this just doesn't feel, I don't think we're all dumb. I don't think everyone who's like, I'm not fully anti-AI, but I don't think everyone who's like skeptical about AI is just stupid and like, we just don't get it. No, but that's what we keep hearing. We just don't get it.
No, I hear it. I just sent you something right now because I feel it's applicable. I know we're going long, but this was hot off the presses, so I didn't want to miss it. In terms of Troy Baker, which surprised me, he actually was like, creative shouldn't demonize AI as it cannot create art. I think it's a good thing. It's a revolution. I just sent you the link. And I was shocked because him as a voice actor, one of the de facto, the ones in our industry, for him to stand up for it was interesting to me. So he says, people go look what AI can do. It's like, yeah, okay, I see what it's capable of doing. It doesn't matter. And we don't need to diminish it. We don't need to denigrate it. We don't need to demonize it. We just need to go, okay, it's there. But it still doesn't remove the choice for me as a performer, as a producer to go, I choose to do this. He added, for the past 2,500 years since we set foot onto a stage, humans have been doing this. So maybe we trust that. Maybe we trust that this will be part of the process. Though he acknowledges that people in the business of content are apprehensive, and there's no doubt that AI can make content way better than humans. He says, you want to see what it looked like to be at the Gettysburg Address? Sora can do that in a matter of minutes and seconds. LLMs can create content, but they cannot create art. And the reason why is because that invariably requires the human experience. What I see happening is that the birth of AI and this burgeoning industry of it is actually going to drive people to the authentic. And so he goes on, there's a lot more to it. But I thought that was interesting. And I think if I had to summarize, I'm still getting kind of a little bit of what I had said, where he's kind of still believing in the human spirit part, you know what I'm saying? And that ultimately that will be the factor. But we also can't ignore corporations are going to cooperate.
Yeah.
And that's my concern.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, is that I think a lot of people are missing the forest for the trees. Like I go back to that Larian example where we talked about that, and I was just like, I don't know. quite yet. And a lot of the response to people who are like a little, I want to say concerned about Larian, because I don't think that warrants that type of fear around them, but like, oh, one of our goats is kind of messing with AI. And I guess when I look at them as a company and like what they're capable of producing, the beauty of art is watching what a human thought of and seeks out the challenge of creating it. When you kind of take the easy lane to that, what is art at that point? I think that's the other question we're going to find ourselves asking, and why, you know, I really respect what like Bruce Straley said at one point, where he was like, yeah, I don't know how long I can say this for, but like right now I'm not using it in our development practice. Like, I don't know if there's a point where it's stupid. I think that's the best take you can have personally.
Yeah,
it's like,
absolutely.
You don't have to completely dig your heels in and be like, I'm never doing this shit. Cause it's like, I don't think that's wise. It's, you know, like there's a chance that this can be useful, but right now it doesn't look like it's changing the game for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, you put some placeholder textures on and then what? Like the game's not like, you still have to get rid of that. So it's like, why not leave it as a white block? You know, is how I describe it. Like, I'm just like, what? Maybe it's something I'll learn along the way. I don't know. Yeah. But we've talked about extensively, not like, will we use this or not? Because that's a de facto no. But like, we've talked about like, what's the point? Like, what does it get us that we don't have right now?
Right.
And we're a small team. So I don't know. I just look at it and I think about it a lot. And I'm just like, that's why I think it's like money laundering. I'm just like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, this is great for everyone because you're getting fucking paid out the ass to make things for it. So thank you, Satya.
Yeah, we will see.
This last story here kind of had the scoop on.
Ooh.
Matt Firer, head of Zenimax and former head of Zenimax Online Studio, left after the cancellation of Project Blackbird. Finally, to close out 2025, he has spoken out. He posted on his LinkedIn and then copied that as a screenshot, put it on his Blue Sky. He wrote, as 2025 draws to a close, I want to take this moment to resurface and give everyone an update. Thanks so much to all of you who reached out to offer condolences, and thanks during my exit from Zenimax Online back in July. I can't express enough my gratitude at the show of support given by so many of my game industry friends and colleagues. Right off the top, and to answer the most common question I get, I am not directly involved in any of the projects that have been spun up by former members of Zenimax Online Studios team. I'm advising some of them informally, but I am not leading them. They are in good hands with their respective leaders, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. Second, the most common question about what led to my leaving Zenimax Online Studios is the most obvious explanation is the correct one. Project Blackbird was the game I had waited my entire career to create, and having it canceled led to my resignation. My heart and thoughts are always with the impacted team members, many of whom I had worked 20 plus years with, and all of whom were the most dedicated, amazingly talented group of developers in the industry. I cannot express deeply enough my respect and thanks for both the Elder Scrolls Online development team and the players that together comprise the most welcoming, best community in online gaming. I have successfully moved from the first group to the second, and now enjoy the game as an anonymous community member, and it's refreshing and fun. Long may both groups prosper. So what's next for me? Honestly, I still haven't figured that out. I'm not totally sitting on the sidelines. I have been advising some projects and startups in an unofficial capacity, and I've made some investments in small teams that I know will play a big part in changing the industry in the future, but I have not yet seriously contemplated spinning up a new development studio. Thanks again for all the well wishes from all of you who have stayed in touch, and I'm sure we'll be crossing paths at industry conferences and other events at some point. Hang in there, everyone. It's rough out there, but it will get better. It's time to turn the page on 2025 seriously. Have a very safe, fun, and prosperous 2026. So shout out to Mr. Fire, just a really awesome dude. And just, I always feel for him and his team when I see this, because you could tell, again, I always go back to that reaction to the cancellation. And like I always say, like, things don't get leaked to me ever. I don't go around looking for them. That's the primary reason, but also no one reaches out to me because I'm not a leaker. So when this was getting canceled and people were like, here's footage, here's screenshots, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Like, bro, the belief in this project was fucking insane at that team. I've never seen anything like it. And as we know, it led to his departure, which I know you talked to me a little bit about. So Cog, I'm curious as to your thoughts on what Matt Firer wrote on LinkedIn.
That's what really hurt me. That's what hurt the heart. I just don't like, in this games industry, when you read a story like this, and this is your dream project, man. You've been working on something for so long. And I think the part that bothers me the most is how abruptly it was done, right? Where remember, like two parts of the story was interesting that like some of them didn't know until because they were, I think Phil and they were playing the game and like from my understanding, like Phil
couldn't put the controller down.
Put the controller down. And one thing I know about
Gets
Phil,
me every time.
bro, I know it's funny in retrospect to say to laugh at, but one thing I do know about Phil is that he's a gamer. Two, he had to love that game. So to see that, to get the cancellation of your studio without warning, when you're thinking everything is in the clear, you are good, you're getting close, you're about to release this project. And we saw from what we saw, it looked amazing. It sounded amazing. It sounded like they had a hit. This one does bug me too because it fits the profile of something that should work in the new Microsoft gaming era, right? Don't you want? So I get budget. I get, if it was taking long, okay, I get that. But it's just like, that was a tough one. That was a tough one, man. I feel for him because, again, I'm always a person who I worry about the loss of what I consider foundational knowledge in the games industry. And these guys may not come back. And again, my overall theme, the decay of something I love, right? Something like these are signs, like these people are laid off, they're not coming back. This person, the consoles cost too much. And the game cost is high. AI is, like it's all these little things. What is it? Death by 1,000 cuts that's starting to hit the periphery of something I love. But yeah, this is heartbreaking, man. I hope he's able to do something. But the thing that I'm concerned about now, you poured your heart into your baby. The baby's canceled, but don't they own the baby so you can never make what you wanted to make?
Yeah.
That's the part that hurts. So how do you come back from that? I pray for him. That's a tough one, man. I don't wish that on anybody. You could tell by the way the passion that he had. It's just insane. And this is a vet. This is an OG. So this is terrible. This is a terrible one. This is a tough one.
It's tough to imagine how you want to come back from that because, right, you work so hard to get to that point and you get there and it's like, oh, well, I got to that point and we didn't get to ship it. It's like I have to go through all these steps again to get to that point. And
hell yeah.
It's just hard to sell yourself on that, especially when you've given so much to this industry. He's probably got a lot out of it. I'm sure he's a very well-made man, but especially he's talking about investing and stuff like that's cool. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I feel bad for him and the team. I can only imagine what the state of that building is because it's like that the spiritual death in that company was like, you're just doing ESO. And they'd done ESO already for 10 years. And it's like, you're not leaving that behind. Yeah. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Why would you want to show up to work? Of course you like.
Yeah. It's like a job. I mean, it's a job, right? It's a job. You show up, you get paid. Like, obviously there's that. But other than that, like, it's got to be so tough being creative in AAA, man. It's just got to be like fucking impossible. So, but I also wonder if like it's so tantalizing to have all those resources. Can these people who have been up there for so long imagine getting back to like 20-person team, small budget, let's make something like that. This is a guy who's managed an MMORPG for the better part of over a decade. It's like, what do you want to make now? Like you were working on this big online game. Can you do that with like a small indie team? It's tough. I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of Olin, like when James Olin left BioWare and then he was out for a while and it was like, oh, like he, worked to this mountain and then got an offer he couldn't refuse and came back. And then we don't know how that all worked out, obviously, in the end here because we have to play Exodus. But I do wonder what is up next for him. It doesn't sound like he's totally done, but seems like he's going to be taking a long break at the very least.
Yeah, shout out to Batman. I hope, like I said, I hope you do something. I hope the circle of life continues in terms of if you want to get back in the game and put some people together and form, your own studio, we're going to be out there to support. You know what I'm saying? 100%. And I just hope, he gets that opportunity if he chooses to, if he wants to. Because this is one of those tough ones to read. I felt his pain in that.
Absolutely. Right up. And with that, Cog, episode 1 of the new year in the books. with that, we always pick a nice hashtag to round things out. A lot of good headlines here that we could pick. I think we got to do DD Slop. Though. I feel like we gotta.
You couldn't wait.
Yeah, I feel like we got to do DD Slop. That's like the only way to open the year. Nice tone setter. So we'll go with that.
All right, let's
there we
go.
go. Hashtag DD Slop. Hit us up on Twitter. I'm at G27Status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. If you don't have Twitter, go ahead, use the comments down below. We'll welcome you there as well. Hashtag DD Slop. Cog, any thoughts as we get on out of here?
Big beefy episode. Good to be back.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you dealing with me. I was running super late today. A lot of stuff going on. It took me a lot to get here, but it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to be talking games with the homie. And yeah, we got a lot of stuff this year. There's going to be a lot of stuff to cover this year. Boy. Oh, boy.
Indeed. Yes. I'm looking forward to it. Still on break, so I'm just going to go eat food, kick my feet up, play some more games, maybe MGS3 tonight. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back next week. We'll be in full swing by that point. And probably, I don't know, I imagine, you feel like next week we got to know about this developer direct, right?
Yeah, it's time. Yeah, it's getting time. Yeah.
So we'll look forward to that. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch you in the next episode of Defining Duke and Xbox Podcast. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox Podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.